but they haven't won anything yet.
Ryan.
You need to prove to me
Wait,
first.
They
what?
made the finals and they competed for a championship. What
And
more
they
could you want?
lost. They
So you're
lost.
so you're saying all the teams that aren't a champion, are just trash. A team that hasn't won a championship,
I
like
didn't say they were trash. I just said they
so.
need to prove their.
Embiid's not worth it then. That's
No,
what you're saying. Embiid's not worth
no,
it.
No.
no.
Okay, so welcome back, guys, to another episode of Quarter Kings. You're with your host Austin Chang, and with me, of course, every other week, Ryan Hugh. How you doing, brother?
Good. I'm doing very good. Just
Hey,
had
what's up?
just finished work, had class, but we're here again. We're here to talk ball.
Yeah, my last week has been pretty tough. I just got my hair done again, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good. But
I think it looked good.
you think it was good, dude?
I think it looks good.
Yeah, stop lying, bro. Stop lying. Anyways,
Nah.
that's besides the point. We're here to talk about basketball, and of course, our topic today, we're going to be ranking the NBA teams, of course, post free agency. Obviously, not every team has finished their free agency moves and stuff, but we're still going to make an attempt because why not? And with this topic, we're not going to do it alone. And as you can see, we have a guest with us, but he doesn't have a face. So, Ryan, why don't you introduce him to us?
He moves like a ghost, just like a damn phantom. Two-way monster with bare hops. Asvin Anton. Oh.
Let's get it.
Hey!
Let's get it. I appreciate you guys for having me back. Thank you. Thank you.
Of
Thank you.
course, of course.
That was a proper introduction, right? I'm gonna dap you up through the screen right now.
Dap me up, bro. Dap me
Yeah,
up.
let's
We're
get
good.
it.
We're
Let's
good. We're
get it.
good.
That was a pretty good introduction.
That's what I'm saying. Austin. Austin was pretty
I
good,
can't
right?
lie. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Welcome back, Asvin.
Appreciate it. Long
And
time no see.
long time no see. And it's been a while, so got a new favorite guy, or are we still sticking with the OG?
Nah, I'm sticking with the OG Paul George. Whether he's shooting bricks or he's playing as nice as he did in Indiana, I'm sticking with my guy. That's my ride or die, Paul George.
That's your Ben Simmons.
That's my Ben
Facts,
Simmons.
dude. I
Exactly.
respect that, dude.
And I'm guessing team. We're still sticking with
Ooh.
Toronto.
Still sticking with Toronto. That's a hometown team. Gotta show love to our
Gotta
hometown
show
team.
love, definitely. And aside from that, anywhere else?
I'm gonna say the Heat. I'll give the Heat some
Yeah.
respect. And the Spurs as well. That's also a
Mm.
classic team that I enjoyed watching
Bandwagon.
back in the day.
Back in the day. Yeah, sure, dude.
Bro, what? Tim Duncan, Manu, Tony Parker? Come on now.
Nah, he's right. He's right though.
Right?
But did you join the Heat after LeBron or before LeBron?
I was there after LeBron. I wasn't watching basketball before LeBron. I had no idea what basketball was before LeBron.
This guy really is a bandwagoner for Miami.
Hey, he's honest, bro. He's honest, dude.
That's true. That's true. All right. Last 2 weeks we had a few things happening. Very interesting stuff. Right off the bat, just want to shout out Bronny James. Hopefully he recovers well from the cardiac arrest. You guys have any words you want to say out to that?
Prayers up to my man's, man. I mean, he's too young to be having those problems.
I know that's what I'm saying though.
Speedy recovery for sure.
But I think
Hope
he's
for speedy
okay. I think
recovery.
he just got. I forgot the word was when they like dispatched them or when they're out
Well,
of
he
the
got cleared.
hospital.
Yeah, he got
Yeah, he
cleared.
got clear. Like he's out of the hospital. Like he's going back home. He's all good. But damn, that's pretty scary. Like imagine being in that situation. Like you see one of your boys just fall over and like pass out on the floor. Like that's pretty scary shit, man. So I hope he's good. I hope he does get in those problems in the future. But hey, I mean, if he's good, then we gotta move on.
I mean, we've always heard of people with heart problems that can have successful careers, like LaMarcus Aldridge, right? He
Right.
had a heart condition, but yet, what, 5-time, 6-time All-Star, like one of the best power forwards of all time, in my opinion. So
Mm-hmm.
I think he can. He definitely has a future still.
Yeah, no, he doesn't actually. He's done, bro. He's
Oh
done.
damn.
Yeah.
All right. James Harden. A lot of drama surrounding the kid, the guy.
The kid.
Sorry, my fault. Still thinking of Ronnie. A lot of drama surrounding him wanting to move out of Philly, but Daryl Morey doesn't wanna. Like, where do you guys think he'll end up?
Asvin, who do you think?
Ooh, I don't think he's gonna get out of Philly this time.
Mm.
I feel like he's there to stay for a little bit. I feel like even if he does try to get out of Philly, the price for him, the price to trade for him would just be enormous. I don't know like how many like what teams will be willing to offer or what young players, what assets are they willing to offer. So I think he's there to stay in Philly for a little bit.
Is he going to be moved at the deadline, do you think, then?
End of deadline? Ooh, that's always a possibility. I know
Mm.
he does want to go to the Clippers. And I think the Clippers do got some assets over there on that
Nah,
side. But
nah.
I don't see him getting moved before the start of the season. I think he's there to stay in Philly.
Ryan, you
I
seem
don't
like you have
know.
some strong thoughts about it.
That's what I'm
What do you
saying.
got?
Nah, bro. Clippers don't have any assets. They have all the first round picks are gone from the Paul George trade. Um, they can send Terrence Mann and Zubats, but you already have Joel Embiid. There's no point. I think his time as a strong trade candidate is over. Like no team wants to pick up that albatross of a contract, and no team wants to rely on him in the playoffs. I don't think. I think he's done. Philly's his last team.
Wow, you think that is his last team?
Yeah,
I think he's gonna get moved, whether it's to the Clippers or any other team. I feel like Harden has been super underrated. I mean, we've seen players have bad playoff series. Westbrook has gone so many passes for having some bad playoff series. Like Harden last, yeah, he had a tough playoff series, but he still was one of the best players last season. I mean, I think he was All NBA caliber. He should have made the All Star team. Probably could have made it All NBA easily. And just from a bad playoff series, like you can't just write him off. Like, and the thing with these star players, especially one that has been in the league for as long as Harden has been, they kind of get their way at the end of the day. If they want to get moved, they're gonna get moved. In my opinion, I don't think it's gonna happen by the end of free agency, but trade deadline, I could definitely see some team getting desperate and making the push for him. I feel like.
I feel like he just chokes in every playoffs, like the playoffs though.
And you're talking
We've
about
seen this.
choking. Your favorite player is Jaylen Brown, bro. I mean, shit, dude, that
Hey
guy.
man, he just
Hey,
secured a three
hey,
Hey,
look at
hundred
that
four million
304.
dollar contract.
Yeah, what the heck? Man,
He just secured a bag.
that's cheap.
So,
fair enough, but I mean, everyone chokes, man. People have bad playoff series. Like, you, it happens, you know.
but
And
he's been having bad playoff series.
but here's the difference, though. I feel like with Harden, like he's still one of the star players in the league, and he's shown time and time again. He has had bad playoff series, but he has had good playoff series. I mean, he's brought his team to the Western Conference Finals and almost beat the Golden State Warriors that one year when they were one of the best teams in the whole league. I
They
mean,
still went 0 for something in what over 40 and five from
that was
three.
a whole
Threes?
team effort there. That was a whole team effort. I mean, listen, I mean Harden, I still believe in him. I think he can be at least the second best player on a good team, on a championship team. I mean, on a good team, he can be the best player. So I mean, he's gonna get moved whether he likes it or not. If he doesn't want to be in Philly, then that's just how it's gonna be. I mean, he's a pretty stubborn guy we've seen, and if he wants to get moved, he'll get moved.
Swear to God, this is the third or fourth trade request he's had in the last 3 years or
And
something.
guess what? He's gone traded.
He's the Kyrie of the West.
Yo, facts, dude. He's the team cancer, bro.
Oh my God. Speaking of Jaylen Brown, do you guys think he is deserving of that contract, or will he be deserving of that contract?
Well,
Mm.
as of right now, well, first of all, like congrats to Jaylen Brown on getting the bag, securing the bag. Props to him for that. But do I think he's if he's worth that money right now? I don't think so. Like
No.
he's making more money than, Jokic, Steph Curry. Like at this time right now, like I feel like, the skill set ain't there yet. But I feel like I don't know how long is the contract? 5 years?
5 years, yeah.
5 years from now, it might be worth that contract. Like he might, I could see like the potential. Boston, I think, sees that untapped potential in him, which is why I think they gave him that money. And I feel like 5 years from now, I think he will be worth that price.
Interesting. Interesting. I want to hear Austin's thoughts first.
Yeah, obviously when we first saw the news, we thought to ourselves, what the fuck? Like that is some insane money. But under the new CBA, I mean, there's a few things that I would say. Like under the new CBA, there's gonna be deals like this that are gonna happen regardless. Like he's kind of like the first domino to fall, and I think that he is one of the premier players in the league, especially being so young. He's shown in the past that he was the best player on a championship, not a championship team, but they made the finals, and then
Finals bound
against
team,
the
yeah.
Warriors, he was their best player, like point blank period. And of course, like has had a struggle the last playoff series, but he's been a consistent performer throughout his whole career. And if you're Boston, I mean, what else are you doing with the money? You have someone of this caliber on your team, like you have no choice but to give him that money, especially if the rest of the league is gonna have to do with their best players. Like it's just kind of a given. You had to give him that contract, or else he was going, and you're gonna be left with nothing.
Now, this is what I think. Jaylen Brown is not deserving of that money. I love the guy, but he's not
Damn, you're
deserving of
fake.
a
I know
You're a
fake
fake
fan.
fan. You're a fake fan.
bro. That's 60 million a year. I reserve that money for the Giannis's and the Jokic's of the league. When I think of 60 mil, I'm not thinking, oh, the the 1A 1B punch of the Boston Celtics. Like I'm thinking of superstar MVP type level players. And if you're giving that money to Jaylen Brown, the next player that's going to get a contract like that, I don't know, is not going to be worth it. Like Chris Middleton or something. I don't see that.
But
I,
here's my thought process about it. I think with if it was like Washington and Bradley Beal, he definitely would not be deserving of that contract, right?
Mhm.
But if you're the Celtics, like okay, of course I don't think anyone's worth 60 million. Obviously, like if I'm looking at that context, but if you're the Celtics, you're a championship level team, and you're probably the favorites coming out the East for the next, let's say, 5 years now. If you have
Okay.
Jaylen Brown, if you're you kind of have to give him that contract because if you don't give him that contract, he's unhappy. He's gonna want to leave. He's gonna play like trash. Like you're one of the best teams in the whole league. You were the best team in the whole league pretty much last year. So you kind of have to give him the contract to compete because you have a chance to win a championship for the next 5 years just from giving him that contract.
Well, I think the Celtics are a contender even without Jaylen Brown, in my opinion.
Really?
I don't
Yeah,
think so at
That's
all.
because
interesting. That's
they just
interesting.
added Kristaps Porzingis.
That
They
guy.
have Jason Tatum as their number one guy, most days. And then you still have such a very consistent role. And even if you do trade Jaylen Brown, think of all the assets that you can get in return that you can flip for more stuff or get us all-star level type player.
But
Like
at the
I
end of the
don't.
day, you're gonna have to give that contract to somebody.
Yeah.
Porzingis
That's
is gonna have to get that contract then at that point because he's gonna be probably eligible for it. Maybe you never know. And
Only if he makes an All NBA team.
yeah.
of
Porzingis is
course,
questionable. You could go either way with Porzingis. He either has like a really good season or he's injured and he misses like half the season.
exactly. But when he plays, he is all NBA caliber.
He is. He is All NBA when he does play though.
But yeah, I just think that if you're Tatum and Porzingis, it's not gonna work. Especially Horford being like getting older as well. That's pretty much your best center that you have. I don't think Tatum and Porzingis. It's not gonna work. Like you
Mm.
need Jalen Brown. Like every team needs a 1A 1B kind of thing going on. You've seen it with LeBron with the Lakers, AD and him. Like you need to have two guys that you can rely on. I don't think you can rely on Porzingis like that. Like the load that Jalen Brown takes for the Celtics is so underrated. Like that's why I feel like he's so underrated. Is because they don't see the impact that he has for that team. He kind of carries the load, kind of like as much as Tatum does.
But how important is he if he's the one being floated through trade rumors for KD? How
Well, here's the
important?
thing.
How important does Brad Stevens think he is?
Well, he's being rumored to be traded for like the cream of the crop, like for players that are only better than him.
So
That's the difference.
is KD worth 60 million?
In this NBA, yeah,
Why not?
But he's
he
getting paid what, 30 something, 40 mil only?
is his contract up this year? No.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It is what it is. The new CBA, that's just what happens with the money. Like the NBA makes a lot of money, man. Like no one's worth this money, obviously. Like 60 million to play basketball is crazy. But if we're looking at it in the context of the NBA, and if you're the Celtics, you kind of have to give him that money. And I think he's probably deserving of it, especially with the role he plays on a championship team. Just my
We'll
thought.
see. Okay, we'll see. But 5 years from now, I don't think he's deserving.
Really? Uh,
5 years from now, I don't think so. Maybe one out of the 5 years, he'll be like a 40 point per game scorer or something, and that'll justify it for me. But at this point, if he's scoring what 27, 28 points a game, doing the same stuff that Kobe did a few years ago, like I don't think
So
that's
would Jokic and Giannis not be eligible then? Because they're only averaging like 30 and 10.
but
Like
they're champions.
okay, but
oh,
this team is a
yeah.
championship contender.
But they haven't won anything yet.
Ryan.
You need to prove to me
Who?
Ryan,
first.
Ryan. They
What?
made the finals and they competed for a championship. What
And
more
they
could you want?
lost. They
So
lost.
you're saying all the teams that aren't a champion are just trash. A team that hasn't won a championship,
I
like
didn't say they were trash. I just said they
so.
need to prove their.
Embiid's not worth it then.
No,
That's what you're saying. Embiid's not worth
no,
it.
No,
Okay,
no,
so
he's not
who
worth that
else?
contract either.
Who
Oh
else?
no.
Let's
He's
say
not.
man,
He's not worth that.
what?
like you could think of so much players that just have done. So Booker's not worth it then. That means Booker's not worth it.
Booker's
Wow.
not worth it. Booker's not worth
Okay.
it.
Okay. All right. Whatever you say, dude.
Hey, you need to prove to
All
me
right. So let's
why
see.
you're worth it first, and then you move on.
All right. So
Because
Patrick
the
McCaw
goal.
needs a $90 million contract ASAP. Patrick
Okay,
McCaw.
but his stats don't back it up.
PJ Tucker needs a. Yeah. Okay, dude.
Your stats need to back it up. Your resume needs to back it up. Like so much things come into context for me.
But for you to say that just because they didn't win a championship, he's not worth it is
I
insane.
think
Like,
at the end of the
so
day,
Tatum's not deserving of it either. Then all right.
no,
Not
no,
there's Doncic.
Really?
Okay, wow,
Oh
that's
man,
no,
okay.
that's
nah.
interesting. So you need
I
to win a
have a.
championship to make 60 mil. Okay.
That's. I think that's what justifies you because you've already had that window of contention. You've already done it before. You know the formula how to win again. So getting that 60 mil justifies that you can do it and that you will do it again. That's what I
Yeah.
think. That's my thought process.
Okay.
I know controversial,
Fair
but
enough. Fair,
Fair,
That's-
fair,
we'll,
fair enough,
we'll,
dude.
we'll, we'll,
statement.
we'll be
Fair enough, dude. Fair enough. We're not dying to CB. We're not signing to CB.
yeah, that's true. We're not in there. Um, is Ben Simmons going to be healthy for the Nets? We've had reports of him being 100% healthy that he claims, but Austin, what do you think? Do you think he'll have a breakout season, a bounce back season?
Yeah, of course, bro. He's my guy, dude. He's competing for that starting point guard job. And listen, if he's healthy and if his mind is in the right place, he's like one of the most athletically gifted players. Like, just if you look at what he is as a athlete, I mean, he is one of the best. And if he's right in the head and if he's ready to play, he's gonna be one of the like premier point guards in the league, in my opinion. That's just what I feel like. He's Ben Simmons. He's shown us in the past that he can be one of these guys. Obviously, both of you guys aren't that. Of course, you guys aren't going to be sold on it. But listen, I've read on Ben Simmons pause for like his whole career. So obviously, I'm going to say good things about him, right? And if he's ready, if he's healthy, I've always had his back. I'm always gonna ride for him, and I really think that he's ready this season.
Aswin?
in all honesty, like I have no idea if Ben Simmons is actually going to be ready for that. I mean, I've seen the reports as well that he is ready to go and he's going to be competing for that starting spot for
Mhm.
Brooklyn. But hey, that's all on Ben Simmons. Like I can't say much. Like if he is ready, like he's gonna know when he's ready. And if they say like he is ready, like I do believe he could be that starting point guard for the Brooklyn Nets.
I think he will have a bounce back season. I don't know if he'll make an all NBA team, but I feel like he can be borderline all star. I don't think he'll make the team, but I think he'll have a season where he will be in that conversation, considering his back feels better. I think his confidence is a little better, and he's on a team that doesn't have that high as expectations anymore. Brooklyn's not competing for anything, so he can take the time to work his game, get back in the groove a little bit, and he has a number one option in Mikal Bridges, in my opinion. I think he's the number one guy on in Brooklyn now, so he doesn't have to worry too much about the scoring, just more facilitating his defensive role, just what he did best back in Philly, and I think the bounce back season will happen, but to what degree, I don't know. I don't think he'll be a 15 point per game scorer, maybe a 13 or 14. But I think what matters is as long as he can get his rebound numbers up, his assist numbers back up, and just have an overall successful season for the Nets, I think he could be in contention for an All Star nomination.
Yeah, I think the situation that he's in right now kind of like gives him the perfect opportunity to bounce back. I mean, you have a team of young guys, a team that nobody's really watching. You have a coach that seems like a player's coach, and it's like a bunch of guys that kind of trust each other. There's no toxicity, it seems like, in that locker room. I feel like he really is in like, if you look at any other team in the league, he is absolutely in the best position to flourish again. So I'm excited to see next season what's going to happen.
Well, definitely is not worth that contract, but he's he'll be better.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Just one more final thing that I saw the other day. LeBron is changing his number from 6 back to 23. Obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is in recognition of Bill Russell to pay respects. but I don't think that was the right decision in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. What do you mean by that?
I think a lot of there was talks of whoever got was wearing number 6 initially was just going to be grandfathered in. If you don't know what that means, just after they leave the team or they retire, that number would just go along with them. But LeBron wearing number 6 has such a big significance on his career, especially in Miami, winning 2 chips there. So, and he wore number 6 to, I think, represent his son or something. So I don't know why the changing of 6 after wearing it for a season or two is normal, or like is justified. I don't know. It just seems weird to me that he would want to switch from 23 to 6 and back to 23 again.
I think a large part of that has to do with like being superstitious. I know players feel comfortable in certain numbers, and if they do play in a different jersey number, they don't feel like they play right. So I think, part of that 23. I mean, a lot of great players wear 23. MJ being one of those, and I think that's what that influence is there, and I think LeBron. I think MJ had that big influence on LeBron, and I feel like in a way he's trying to represent that, and on top of like the superstition as well.
Even though he's won 2 chips with number 6, like
I guess that's just how he feels. I feel like just being comfortable out there in what he's
okay,
wearing, and I feel like I guess 6 didn't work out for him, which is why he's making that switch to 23.
Austin.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't care what he wears, man. I don't care what he wears. He can wear whatever he want. Honestly, like I feel like, I mean, if I had to, I have to make an opinion, like I think that when he changed his number back to 6, it was because AD was coming back on the team, and he wanted to give AD number 23. And then something happened where AD wore number 3, and
It's the jersey sales.
yes, yeah, it was a jersey.
Yeah.
Like they already made all the jerseys, and LeBron was like, "Oh, I guess I'll just wear this number." And now that he has a chance to switch back to 23, yeah, like if he wants to do it, go ahead. Like 23 is what he's gonna be known as. Like that's his number at the end of the day. Like he had his best season in 23. He won his most important chip in 23.
Mm-hmm.
That's the number that's gonna be synonymous with LeBron, whether you like it or not. So I don't give a fuck, honestly, what he wears, man. Yeah.
Especially to number 68. I would love to see that.
Dude, yeah. Honestly, if it's comfortable, bro. Like Asvin said, if he's comfortable, he's comfortable. That's all that
Mm.
matters. Like I can only
What's
wear
your
number 13,
Yeah, you're number 13, right?
of course.
Is yours number 11?
Mine's 11. Yeah.
11? Okay, I'm 14, so that's
Oh,
crazy.
you trying to be one better than me? Come
That's not.
on, dude. Ah, dude.
All right, let's move on to the tier list because I'm excited for that.
Tier list. Okay, yeah. Of course, we have a tier list that we're gonna bring up right now, which has all the NBA teams on them, and we're gonna be ranking each of these NBA teams based on how we think they're gonna be doing next season, and I think it's regular season and playoffs, right?
Yes.
So yeah, we're gonna be ranking pretty much our our best teams for the entire season, and the tier list right here is gonna be how we're gonna be doing that. So Ryan, how do you want to start this off?
All right. So my thought process right now, you can see the order: the Rockets number 1 and the Mavs in last, right? So I think we should all discuss a little bit, talk about where we think each team is holding up, and then we'll just place them.
All right,
That's pretty.
Word.
I think before we even straight start with that, we should discuss like what S, A, B, and B, C, D would kind of mean for us, right? Like we need to establish what the tiers mean for us, right?
Yeah. All right. So right off the bat, S tier. I think cream of the crop, the best of the best. That means you're a contender or a championship contender. Like for sure, you will be in the finals conversation. So there should be like 4 teams in there.
That's I don't know.
Four to 6 teams, in my opinion.
It can be however much we want, Ryan. What if I
That's
want
true.
every team in there, Ryan?
All right, every team in there. Hell, let's put Detroit in there.
That's fair enough.
But yeah, I think those are the championship contenders. These are the teams that everyone will be expecting to see make a lot of noise.
Right. I think the rest are pretty. I think A could be like playoff contenders, like teams you could see make it to like the conference finals
Mhm.
around there. That would be A. B would be like playoff, like just like they'd be fighting for a playoff spot. Like they'd be in the playoff mix,
C is
mid-tier,
like middle of the pack.
right middle of the
Waiting for a
pack.
playoff
Like
spot, like almost there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and then D is like, the
Tanking.
tanking. Yeah,
D's thinking,
exactly.
and then C is like playing
Yeah,
slash
yeah, that's
trash,
fair.
playing slash trash, dude. That's what C is.
That's fair enough. That's fair. I think
That sounds
that's
good.
that.
That sounds
Yeah.
good.
All right. How do you want to start with the Rockets?
Yeah, we could definitely. Asman, where do you think the Rockets goes?
Ooh, okay, let's see. So based off what I got, so like initially before the addition of Van Vliet, Dylan Brooks, I would have put them in the D category. But because of those two additions, I think they're going to be key additions for the season. So I'm gonna put them in the C category for now. I feel like Van Vliet, he has that vet experience with him. And I feel like in Houston, that situation right now, they got a bunch of young guys there, and I think Van Vliet's going to play that voice and kind of like helping these guys grow into that next player.
I definitely agree with that. I also
Hmm.
had them deep before that all happened, but someone like Van Vliet being on that team just kind of changes everything. I feel like having one leader on a team of young emerging players does make that difference, and it kind of separates them from being just a team that's on the bottom to a team that could you could see make some noise, like kind of how Utah did last season.
Hmm. And I said it, I think last episode. I love the addition of Van Vliet. He's a veteran, undrafted all-star veteran that's coming to a team full of lottery picks, and he'll show them what true grit is. He'll show them what true hard work is. So I don't think they will be a playoff team, but perhaps a play-in team. So I think C is justified.
Okay, but we actually all agree on that. That's quite interesting.
All right. Hopefully this continues.
Yeah, we done in like 10 minutes, dude. And I think for this, we could definitely do one where Asvin goes first, Ryan goes second, and I can go third. So
Yeah, of course.
yeah, we can definitely do that. So I guess we're ready to move on to the Miami Heat.
Your favorite team, Asvin.
My okay. Oh, am I gonna start with the Heat? Okay. So the Heats. I would not put them in the S tier. Like, yes,
Hmm.
they made the playoffs. I mean, they made the championship, the finals. They were fighting Denver for the chip. But I feel like the guys there, like aside from Jimmy and Bam, like who else is there to really step up? I know Tyler Hero. He had his issues. He had injuries. He came back late and he came back during the finals. I don't think he played
Didn't
that big of a role. Oh, he did.
didn't even play.
He got
Really?
cleared, bro.
Okay.
He got cleared.
He got
There we
cleared
go.
and said nope
He had the meanest
There we
jelly
go.
of all
See,
time.
Tyler Hero doesn't even want to play there, and I'm pretty sure there are rumors that he's trying to get out, or not trying to get out, but they're trying to trade him, get someone
for
like
for
Dame,
Dame. Yeah.
yeah, come back. But Miami, I would definitely put them in the A rank.
Yeah, I think he's actually a pretty justified spot. I was kind of juggling between S and A, but when I looked at them through last season, especially in the playoffs, I mean their next few best players were it was Max Strus and Gabe Vincent for like most of the playoff run, and those two guys are gone now. Of course, they're bringing back Hero, but Jimmy's great. Bam obviously can improve. Martin has been really good for them, but past Hero, it's just a whole bunch of nothing. It feels like it's like players that just should not even be rostered. It feels like, and Lowry's getting old too. It feels like this is kind of his last season. It feels like there are rumors of him like kind of being done. Like he was barely playing any minutes. So I feel like Lowry's time might be over. So that's the only thing I kind of took into account to kind of bump them down. But if Strus or Vincent stayed, I probably could have seen them staying in S tier.
On paper, the Heat look like a B team. On paper, these names don't stick out to you. They're not eye popping. You're not like, yo, like whoever that third string guy, like Haywood.
Haywood
Was
Haysmith, bro, that
Wood,
guy was
yeah,
goaded. Yep.
yeah. Like
yeah.
I would not know who that was. I still don't know him, but I think Miami, despite all that, they find a lot of hidden potential, and I think they're going to do it again this year. I don't think they will make it too far in the playoffs because I think that the teams in the East have gotten a little better, and considering all that, they're not in a B team. They're better than that. If you have Jimmy, you're better than B. So I think A is justified, but I think anytime this during the season they can slip down to B, not S for sure though.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing with the East, I feel like now more than ever, it's probably gonna be the most wide open. That not, I guess not wide open. There's really two contenders for me in the East. The rest of those teams all kind of fall into like they can fight for the finals. Like we'll see one of these guys or like two of these teams that are in here that you could see make fight it for the finals. Like I feel like Philly is kind of out of contention now. Like I think Philly's
Hmm.
like we've seen it time and time again. They've just choked too much. Like they're not a contender anymore. So other than Philly, like I think Miami's probably the next best team. And if you're one of the top four teams in the East, like you could definitely make the finals.
Hmm.
So I think A S would probably be a decent spot.
Yeah, but uh, again, I don't expect them to stay in A entering the season. It's if they make the playoffs, they jump straight to an S team. Like that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Boston. I think this
Yeah, but
one.
yeah, you think you should go for this one, right?
Yeah, I think we should just like one, two, three. Like I don't know.
First.
I don't know if your Discord streams like that, but it's Austin, Asvin, and then me. But if you guys want to stick with that, that's cool.
Yeah, we can do Asvin Ryan. Wait, what are we doing, Ryan? Because I think
Wait,
we all have it differently.
yeah, mine's different from what you just
All
said.
right, so Austin, you presented first with Houston.
Hmm.
Asvin did Miami, so I'll be third.
All right, let's go.
All right, okay. Boston. I think most of us have this in the S tier. I think Boston, regardless of who they have, who they don't have, I think they're just a very strong team all throughout. At the end of the day, they just need to be have that team chemistry a little bit stronger, have more reliance on one another, and but all throughout, they're just a very strong team altogether. So S team, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I think that they're the one teams. I mean they signed Jalen Brown to that big contract. That's what you're expecting them to be, right? They're a
Hmm.
championship contender, time out. We've seen them make the conference finals, make the finals. They're one of these teams that I feel like they're not going away for at least the next 5 seasons. So yeah, they definitely got to be an S for me.
Yeah, same for me. I think consistency is going to be like the biggest issue. Team chemistry could be also a big issue. Plus, maybe like trying to figure out when this lineup. They just brought in Kristaps Porzingis. How is he going to fit in with this group? Is he going to be starting or is he going to be coming off the bench? Is Al Horford going to be starting or Robert Williams? How's it going to look like? So I feel like chemistry and then trying to find that consistency throughout the season is going to be their biggest issue. But for sure, like it's a no-brainer. I think Boston Celtics, they're S-ranked team.
Hmm. Hmm. Moving
All right,
on.
moving on to the Knicks, dude. I mean, this is one of the teams that it's just like such a middle of the playoff team. Like it seems like their home is B. I just feel like B is just a good spot for them. They're one of these teams that they're gonna make the playoffs for sure. Like from 4 to 8, you could definitely see them go anywhere. They have John Brunson, they have Randall, two of these guys that we've seen play some high level basketball, especially Brunson last playoffs. I mean, he was really impressive. And if RJ Barrett's gonna get better, and if the coaching could ever get better, I mean that's one thing I feel like is holding them back. But other than that, they're middle of the pack playoff team. Like I expect them to be somewhere between 6 to like 5 to 8, somewhere in that range. So yeah, they should be just a B level team next season.
Hmm. Well, I think for New York, they're very high B, like B plus tier if there was one, high B tier. Uh, just very consistent team the last 2 seasons. No, not the last two, but ever since Jalen Brunson got there, very consistent team. They don't really slouch that much, but they're not really anything too amazing either. But they're just I'd be surprised if they didn't make the playoffs. They
Right.
were like the Toronto Raptors for a few years. Like,
Disrespectful.
oh, okay, but I'd say New York has a good shot at making it to the semifinals, the second round. But aside from that, I'm not expecting too much. So B tier.
Have they made any significant additions to that team? To the Knicks? Any signings?
The big one I remember is losing Derrick Rose, but
Was
Yeah,
that's
and
about it.
losing Obi Toppin
Divi-
too.
Oh
DiVincenzo?
shit!
Wait, was
They
DiVincenzo?
did they add DiVincenzo?
I have no idea, but like
I think
that's
they did.
if
Yeah.
you've like there's nothing too big. Like I didn't see a like significant free agency signing, which is why I didn't feel like they were an A level team. But I feel like they're a solid like they're gonna make the playoffs. Like what Ryan said, I would be surprised if they didn't make the playoffs. So I think they're perfectly in the middle, the B
Hmm.
level.
High B tier. High B tier.
And you're expecting some growth from guys like Quentin Grimes and Emmanuel quickly. Like those are two of the guys that have been in their farmhouse for long enough. We've seen them grow throughout the few years that they've been there, and I think if those guys can get better, yeah, like B plus, and you could definitely see them making a run for maybe even A by the end of the season. If those guys really show to be those role players that they need, then yeah, definitely they can make A.
I think there's just one disappointment with New York is RJ Barrett. Like I keep seeing him put up the same stat line every year, and I don't know. I just keep expecting more, but I guess I can't.
He's Canadian. What do you expect, man? He's trash, dude. It is what it is.
As in, are we moving on to Detroit?
I guess we're moving on to Detroit. Okay, so what's happening in Detroit? They signed Monty Williams
Easy
yet
S tier.
again. Oh,
Easy
oh,
S tier.
oh yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Put him up there. Put him
Put him
right up
up
there
there, all
next to the
the way up
Celtics,
Okay.
top.
man.
All right. Bet. Let's go.
Oh man,
No,
but
put
yeah,
him
the
in front of the
situation.
Celtics. In front of the
Oh, in
Celtics.
front of the Celtics.
Yeah,
Okay. My bad. My
Yeah,
yeah,
bad.
there you go.
there
All
we
There
right,
go.
you
make a new row above, dude. Hold on.
go.
But yeah, that situation. Monty Williams is there. Detroit is a group with a bunch of young guys. Cade. You got Ivy in there. Duran's also a big a young guy who has a lot of potential. And I feel like they're not gonna make a lot of noise this season. So which is why I'd put them in that D level.
Yeah. Damn, they just went from all the way top to
Greatest fall off of all time.
no, but it's agreed. They don't have that. I don't think they have that. They're not meshing together as well yet. Cade's been out injured, and a lot of them young guys are still very raw. So we need to see what they're made of. Monty Williams needs to like mold them into shape for a bit more, and we'll see what they can amount. Maybe in 2 seasons they can hit up a B tier, but right now comfortably in D.
Yeah, and the signing of Monty Williams kind of proved that they're going to be in this for the long haul. I mean, you have Cade, who I think is one of the best young players in the league. Like he's
Yeah.
on the level of Anthony Edwards in my opinion. Like I think he could be that guy in the future. But you have so much young projects. Like Asvin said, Duran. I mean, he's like the youngest player in the league at this point. Or for last season, he was the youngest player in the league. You have Killian Hayes, Hamidou Diallo, Beef Stew on that team, Isaiah Stewart. Like
Yeah.
these are all guys that you could see becoming something in the future, but for the time being, like they're going to be trash for at least the next 2 seasons. So yeah, a D is like that's their home right now for sure.
I mean, like you still have a lot of not say untapped, but like these guys that can still do something like Marvin Bagley and James Wiseman. Like these
Wiseman,
guys,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
these
Wiseman's
guys
there too.
they're not that good, but I don't know. Maybe they can become solid double guys in the future, but we'll
yeah.
see.
You just need a jump from one of those guys. Like one of those guys needs to hit a jump, and you're golden.
I'm betting it's Wiseman.
You bring us
He
Wiseman.
he's pissed that Golden State sold him off.
He should be pissed
So
at himself for being so shit, man. God
That's true.
damn, dude. Man could even
Fact.
score in the G League, bro. Like this guy is, he's washed, bro. He's washed at 23.
at 23. All right, Milwaukee. We're looking at maybe a D tier, C tier.
Yeah,
I think
around
that's about
there.
accurate. Sounds
Put them
about
in,
right.
put them in S. We know where they stand. Giannis does Giannis things. They still kept the core together. Like Drew Holiday's there. They locked up Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez for another few years. Like, I don't see anything wrong with the Bucks. They just need to not choke as much in the playoffs, stay healthy during that time, and I think they're still a championship contender every single year.
Yeah, definitely the case. I mean, they've been one of the best teams in the league for the past, I don't know how long. Ever since Giannis kind of popped off, they've been one of the best teams in the league.
5 years? Yeah, 5 years, right?
They've won a championship. They have the same core going on. Like everyone's back. Middleton's back. Brook Lopez is back. Like they're still going to be one of the best teams in the East, and they're one of two contenders for me in that conference. And there's a reason why they're in S.
Asvin?
Yeah, Milwaukee doing Milwaukee things like Giannis doing Giannis. Middleton always consistent every year around. I know he had injuries, but I feel like he's gonna come back this season, be the usual Middleton. Drew Holiday, solid defender, awesome. He could score too.
Mm-hmm.
Who else they got? Brooke Lopez. That's your what? He finished like number one or number two in blocks
I
this
think
season
number
and rebounds too.
he was a DPOY candidate too, which
Yeah, he
is
was.
All NBA
yeah,
There you go.
candidate even. At
There
some
you
point in the
go.
season, he was. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so Milwaukee doing Milwaukee things. I think it's an automatic S level team.
Do you think they're ahead of Boston, or does the tier list look right now?
Ahead of Boston? I don't know. I feel like it go either way.
I'm
I
gonna
don't know. I
stick
feel
with
like
Boston ahead. I think Boston's still better than Milwaukee right now.
home court advantage would play like a huge role in this, but like I think
What
Boston
do you
might
mean?
have
They're
that.
both green.
Yeah, you right. You right.
One of the fan bases are racist though. That's the only difference, dude.
I mean, I guess you're right.
I personally think Milwaukee is probably better than Boston. Like I think I've seen more from them that would prove that they're one of the best teams, and they've had the best record for so long. This is the only
That is
season
true.
where they've like if they didn't get bounced in the first, you'd expect them to be in play for the finals. So I probably think they're better, but they're kind of 50-50, I guess.
Well, I think everyone's concern is that Milwaukee isn't as healthy, so that's kind of what puts me with Boston in front.
And their guys are getting older too.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if Milwaukee is better than Boston this season.
Mm-hmm. And this next team that we're about to hit up, the Toronto Raptors, I feel like
This is
is
a
just
tough one.
such a hard one, man. Like you got the Pistons, the Bucks, two easy ones to rank. The Raptors, I think, have the most movement going on. I'm a Raptors fan, so like you would think I have some bias, but I personally think that this is a C level team.
C tier, yep.
I think it's a C tier team. I think the losing Van Vliet to the Rockets means so much to this team. He took a lot of their shots. He had the like I think he had the most usage on that team. Like he was pretty much their whole offense. And yeah, you have Scotty Barnes that you expect to get better. You have Gary Trent coming back. You have Grady Dick coming in. You still have Siakam, even though I think he might get moved before the deadline. This is one of those teams where you can kind of see where the direction is going, whether Masai wants it or not. I think the Raptors are looking towards a rebuild. And by the end of the season, if I'm taking into account the whole thing, I think the Raptors are probably going to be down from the 10 to 12 kind of range, in my
Mm.
opinion.
It's a tough, tough time to be a Raptors fan. That's all I'm going to say.
For real. I don't know. I feel like that team they have too much talent. Like, what's that starting lineup gonna look like? Schroeder, OG at the two, maybe Scotty Barnes at the three, Siakam at the four, Pirtle at the five, and then you have Trent off the
That's
bench,
crazy.
Grady Dick. Uh,
That's
who else is there?
crazy.
I feel like yeah,
Thaddeus
Trent.
Young, Otto
that
Porter.
team just has too much talent. I feel like they don't have enough of a vet presence to really kind of like orchestrate what's happening at
They
the
have
time right now.
too much talent, but they don't have a star player. It's like a team full of really good role players.
Yeah,
Like, like you can win some, but if you don't have your alpha dog leading you, I don't know what's going to happen with that. Like they're going to be in the middle of a pack, and I think they should just aim to rebuild, in my opinion.
yeah, and we've seen that this season. Like they didn't reach expectations, but they also played kind of poorly as well. Like we thought they'd do better than what they did this season. At least that's what I thought.
Yeah, I think with the Raptors is I really feel like they could definitely go from C to like easily B if they just played the right way last season. I think Siakam he has a chance to be one of those guys, in my opinion. But the only thing is that the coaching was just so bad. I mean, you give Van Vliet the ball 9 times out of 10 in the last 2 minutes. What do you expect? Of course, we're not going to win the game.
He's gonna chuck the ball.
Siakam, time in and time out, has proved that he is one of the best. Like he's a really good player in the clutch, in my opinion. He has the game to like his game is tailored to the clutch. Mid
Hmm.
range jump shots, attacking the rim, making the right passes. Like I think Siakam definitely could be one of these guys that you could have as like your best guy on your team. And if he is the best guy on your team and he gets played like that, he gets touches like that, we're gonna be a playoff team. And even past that, I think Scotty Barnes, he was one of the best clutch players last year.
He
I mean, we've
was.
seen so many. I watched so many Raptors games where he gets the ball during clutch time and he makes a right read 8 out of 10 times. It's insane the growth. So I really think coaching and the cohesion amongst the whole team could make a big difference. Obviously, I think we're going to trade Siakam, which kind of makes them like default in C. But if they keep Siakam and they want to compete, I think they could easily be B if they just get coached the right way, and if they give Siakam the ball because he is one of the best players in the league.
I'm gonna put. If I were you, I would put the Raptors ahead of the Rockets. That's
Oh,
just what
this
I
was in
think.
no order. This was in order, but
Oh
Oh, it's
yeah,
not.
yeah.
Okay.
The order
I thought
matters.
we
I thought
can
we were
do it.
putting them in order. Yeah,
We
I
can
thought
put
we
it. We
were.
can put it in order. We can put it. They're probably
Yeah,
the top of C if I had to say anything.
top of C. Yeah, top of C tier. All right, Addison, let's move on to you.
Alrighty, so the next team, oh, that's the Warriors. Okay, this is where controversy might start. Okay, so initially, I had the Warriors on the A level, and this is only because I feel like the Warriors played terribly during the regular season. Like what they finished the regular season last year, they were like seventh or sixth, and ended up playing the Kings, who I think were like second or third. I feel
Yeah.
like when it comes to the regular season, that's when they're just trying to figure things out. Things are a little rusty, and that's why they fall to to a lower position, a lower rank. But I think come playoff time, that's when that playoff mentality comes in, that championship grit comes in, and I feel like that's what really gives them that S level ranking. That's why they're deserving of the S level. Steph Curry, doing Steph Curry things, Klay Thompson doing Klay Thompson things, and you got Draymond as well. Also, being that leader, being that voice, kind of guiding these guys on what to do. And I feel like that's why, hey, the Warriors are the S level team.
No disagreements.
Yeah, no. I had the exact same reasoning. I had them in A prior to that, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that if you're in the playoffs and you have to play against the Warriors, it's going to be a really tough series. You have arguably the best point guard in the league. You have a team that has so many smart players that have been in the playoffs time in and time out, have gone through everything. They've lost in the finals, they've won in the finals. Like they've done all there is to do in
They're
in the
just doing side
playoffs.
quests now.
Yeah, it's like it's
Yeah.
gonna be tough to beat them no matter what team you are. So yeah, like by the time playoff comes, they're definitely an S tier team.
Like they're just playing the same game over and over again. Like you know how like you can beat the Elite Four and the champion, and now they're just doing it again and again now right now.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. I think if you have Steph Curry in your prime, you're an S tier team. That's just how I see it.
Mhm.
It does not matter. Minnesota. Hmm. This was a
Tough one.
this is low key a tough
Yeah.
team. This is
One of the
low key
toughest ones.
one of the tougher ones. I thought about it for a while, and I kept going back and forth between B and C. Ultimately, I ended in C tier. I think the only bright spot right now on that team is Anthony Edwards. Uh, I think Gobert and Cat, that isn't exactly working, and they're going to have to ship probably Cat out to maybe bump up to a B tier. But by how the team's constructed, I think the Raptors are actually still better than them
Ooh, okay.
because yeah, I still think, but I'll let you guys decide. I'll let you guys decide on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I personally think the Minnesota Timberwolves are probably ahead of the Raptors just from the talent level and what you're expecting from next season. You still have Conley, who is like a vet point guard that you
Yeah.
kind of need for any of these teams, and is going to be one of the best players in the league next season. Cat is, if fully healthy, can be one of the best big men in the league. Like a few years ago, I had him as like the fourth best center in the league, and you still have Gobert, who is the best center defender in the league. Like this is a team that all they need is a good run, stay healthy, mesh well. Like of course the whole thing with Cat and Gobert on the team, like being on the team together, it sucks. Like it's a hard fit to have. But if everything goes well, like they I see them fighting for a playoff spot. But for the time being, yeah, C's right. I think they're still better than the Raptors. Just by the end of the season, I expect the Raptors to be down in the dumps.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one reason I would have them over.
All right, Asvin, you're the tiebreaker. Are you putting?
What? Okay, yeah. So first, I do agree. Like, yeah, Timberwolves, they're a C level team. My biggest issue with the Timberwolves was that Cat and the Gobert duo at the 5 or the 4, whatever position they play. I don't know why they traded for Gobert. It didn't work out. I don't know if they're gonna make any improvements this season. Hopefully they do. I hope so. But just from the amount of talent that they have, I feel like they have more. The Timberwolves have a lot more talent on that team than the Raptors do, and I feel like Raptors, they're still in that position just trying to figure out how to play the game right now after what happened last season. So I'd put the Timberwolves in front of the Raptors.
Hi, there's the tiebreaker. Yeah, I just think
Tiebreak.
the talent disparity. I think it was just too much for me. Like
Down
Ant
disparity, yeah, it's
clears.
definitely there. Definitely there. I just think the Raptors just have so much better guys overall. Like you can have like 290 overalls and a high 80 overall with the Timberwolves. But if you have like solid, consistent 80 overalls throughout the Raptors roster, I think that just puts them ahead.
I think regular season, you could see that being the case. But if you had to pin them against each other, the team with 290 overalls and a high 80 is going to beat the other team like
Probably,
9 out of 10 times. Like talent
probably.
wins in the league at the end of the day.
Hmm. Okay.
So I guess
Remove.
we can
Yeah,
move on. Yeah, to
yeah.
the
Let's
OKC
move on.
Thunder. This was also a bit tough for me, and I wasn't arguing between D and C. I was arguing between B and C. I thought the Thunder definitely could make the jump this season, and ultimately, I thought to myself, if you're adding Chet Holmgren back to this team, which I believe he can be kind of like a Miles Turner, like if you look at Holmgren, even though he's a rookie, the role he's going to play on the team is kind of perfect. I mean, he's a tall player that can block shots, he can shoot threes, and he's not going to be really relied on to like bang with the big bodies. Like they have a bunch of young guys that can switch between all the positions. Like I think this team is really touted to make a playoff run this season, and especially with SGA playing the way he did last season, it doesn't seem like a fluke
First
to me the way he played
team.
it. Yeah, I don't think it's a fluke the way he played. Like I think they're going to be one of the best teams coming out of the West. Not okay, whoa, but like
Ooh.
five to nine, I could definitely see them being in that mix, and I won't be surprised if they make the playoffs. So I personally have them in the B tier
End of B tier.
and the B tier. Yeah,
End of B tier. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds right. That sounds right. Yeah, Chet Holmgren. Like you said, despite being a rookie, I think uh, he's been with the team for a whole year now, without even having to play, and
redshirted it. Yeah.
exactly. So now he's had an idea of how he could fit in, how he could work with the guys properly, and I know he hasn't played, but that doesn't mean he hasn't had like scrimmage or anything with them, right? So he definitely has some chemistry with Shea right now. Well, we just got to see how that translates into the regular season and maybe even playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree as well. I would put the Thunder in the B level team. Did they make the playoffs? No, right?
They
They
made
made
play
the
in.
play
They
in
made play in.
stage.
Yeah.
Okay, I to be honest, I wasn't expecting them to make the play in like at all that season. But the fact that they did that and the guys they have on that roster, they got a bunch of young guys, SGA, AD, Jalen Williams, and now you're bringing back Holmgren, who's playing his first season. I feel like yeah, that is a young team to watch, and they're gonna be exciting to watch this season. So I would put
Mhm.
them in that B level.
End of B.
End of B.
End of B. I just want to make that clear. They are not a high B team, but they could be,
They
They
could be.
could be. I
but
could
not.
I could see them. I could see them making a push for like kind of where the Knicks are. Like I could see them being
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, Asvin, you're moving on to Hawks.
Oh man, the Hawks. Okay. Let's see. So what do I got here? I got okay. So this is like a battle between the B level and the C level. Now I know the Hawks they lost John Collins. John Collins is now a Jazz, right? He went to the Utah
Yes.
Jazz. Yeah, and then I know Trey and DeJounte Murray, they had their issues this season. We thought they'd be a lot better. We thought, that duo would make a lot of noise this season, but I didn't see that. Obviously, they had issues with coaching as well, but I still do believe they are a B level team. I still feel like, the Atlanta Hawks, they're good, but not amazing, but they're not crappy as well, which is why I would put them in that B level.
Okay. I watch a lot of 2K videos, and
Okay.
2K loves the Hawks. 2K loves Atlanta, especially in those simulations. And if they love them for a reason, that roster is constructed to potentially win. That's all I'm gonna say on that. I think if Atlanta is um, winning simulations in a video game, they're bound to be a middle of the pack type of team.
Easy proof. Yeah, that's just like
Yeah, I
concrete proof
think
right there.
exactly 2K, but definitely not A level yet. But I think they just needed a whole season to work out between Dejounte Murray and Trae Young, and I think Austin's alluded to this before. John Collins was not getting his touches in Atlanta, and with the more open looks that both Dejounte and Trae Young can get now, especially without another big man in the mix over there, I think there could be some room for improvement this season. So middle of the pack B tier. I don't think they're worse than the Thunder, but I think they're definitely not better than the Knicks.
Hmm. I was actually I had them in C initially, and I was like I had some pretty decent reasons for them to be C. Like I thought Dejounte Murray's defense was horrendous last season. I think that the addition of like you're probably gonna have to put Okongwu with more minutes, and he can't
Mhm.
shoot the ball that well. You lost Herder last season. Like he really was one of the best players when they were in the playoffs. So I thought, yeah, they'd probably have to be a C tier. I would put them on the same level as the Timberwolves. But Ryan did say like they really are constructed for the playoffs. You have Trey Young, who's like your ball dominant point guard. You have DeAndre Hunter, who's like your 3-and-D wing. You have Capella, who's hopefully going to be their center for the playoffs. But you have Sadiq Bey on that team as well, who I feel like is going to make
Yes.
a lot of noise. Like he is their stretch four. He is their guy that they can rely on fill the role that John Collins probably couldn't for them, because Sadiq Bey also can play some defense on the side as well. So I do think if they made what didn't no they made, it wasn't conference finals.
No.
No, they made
Oh,
the
wait,
semifinals that one
they
season.
made I think 2 years ago they made the conference finals
Oh, that it was
against
wow.
Milwaukee. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they can make it there with a younger Trae Young, with a younger roster, like who says they can't make noise in the playoffs? This like, and I'm arguing for the seats here. Like I'm not arguing for the playoffs. If they can have that level of a cap or that level of like if they can be an A level team in the past, why not they can be a B tier team this season? Especially with getting rid of something like Collins, where it kind of was like a team cancer. I feel like a lot of players weren't that happy with their situation. If they're starting over fresh this season, then yeah, they could definitely be a B tier team.
So where are you officially putting them?
I would say B. Yeah, I
B?
have to say B.
Okay. Worse than the Thunder?
If okay, I personally think yeah they're probably worse than the Thunder, but
Oh,
I
okay.
think the consensus is I think they're probably gonna be middle of the pack. If
What
you
is
guys say
Aston? What do you think?
I
Are they
would put them
better?
in the middle of the pack right now because I feel like they got that experience. They got that playoff experience in them. Thunder, still a young team, still trying
Yeah.
to, find their way. I would put the Hawks over the Thunder right
Yeah.
now.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Sacramento. Uh, to me, this was an easy A. I think they proved themselves last season, and we were rooting for them during Game 7 of Warriors Kings. And although it was tough to see them take the L that game, uh, the Kings are exciting to watch. They are definitely playoff bound now with Fox and Sabonis leading them, and well, their coach just won Coach of the Year, so I think they're going to work on that. And they still have Harrison Barnes. Like, if you have Harrison Barnes, you're probably an A tier team.
yeah, probably. Yeah, I'd have to agree. Like I had them either in the top of B or the bottom of A, and I think the bottom of A is a good spot. And the one thing that I think that kind of separates them from being there is honestly Keegan Murray. I think the jump that Keegan Murray could take this season could really bolster them. He could be their third guy. He can be the guy that they can rely to or defer to when Fox maybe isn't having the greatest game. Sabonis can't get his touches. You can go to Murray. So I think with all that set in stone, Malik Monk coming off the bench, Davion Mitchell coming off the bench, like this is a really strong roster, and especially Herter. I love Herter. I love her. I
Mm-hmm.
talked about Herter with the Hawks. His shooting, if he's on any given night, he can be like Klay Thompson. He can heat up and pretty much carry your team. So yeah, I think that the Kings are definitely a dangerous team next season.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mike Brown did the impossible. I had no idea that the Kings were actually going to make the playoffs that season. I mean, last season. The fact that they did, and they went toe to toe with the Warriors, and I feel like the sky's the limit. They're going to improve from where they did last season, and they're going to be a good team to watch. They're definitely going to be exciting. I feel like that chemistry between Sabonis and Fox, it's only going to get better from here, and I'm just excited to see like who else can really step into that role and kind of help those two out.
Harrison Barnes.
Harrison
Trey Lyles,
Barnes.
baby.
Trey Lyles, let's go. All
Yeah, so,
right.
and so I guess we're gonna move on to the Clippers. I think the Clippers, the past let's say 3 years, I guess, were always set in stone as an S tier team. We always thought that they were like a championship contender, but I think this season you kind of have to take things back, realize that these guys probably aren't going to play in the playoffs. So I think that if fully healthy, they're an S tier team. But in my opinion, this season they're going to have to be an A tier team. You never know with Kawhi and PG. Uh, I mean, their roster has pretty much stayed the same. I mean, they lost Eric Gordon, which is pretty big, but you bring in Westbrook, who has proven them to be like really important. Uh, Zubac is still on the team. You saw, is Plumlee still on the team? I'm not sure. Is he?
Is Plumlee still on the team? Let me check.
Not entirely sure. But if he is on the team, then he's a really important piece for them. Like they've kind of been the same roster for the last few years.
He's still there. He's still there.
So they're pretty much the same roster except for Eric Gordon and adding Westbrook. I think they're probably gonna have to be an A tier team. You still have Kawhi and PG, who are the two primary players in the league, and if they're fully healthy, they can make a push for S. But I think for now they have to be an A.
No disagreements there. I think they just need to care about the regular season a little bit. Uh, I still think they're better than the Heat. That's just what I think. Just because of the talent that surrounds that roster. And they have a two-time Finals MVP on there. So I'm not going to say no to that ever. But I think they just have to care about winning a bit more in the regular season to secure a safer spot in the postseason. And if they make it there and Kawhi goes off like he did in 2019, easily an S tier team, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't see any really significant improvements on that roster. I feel like, every like during the regular season, the story's been the same with the Clippers. They got injuries here and there. And I feel like, they could be an S level team. They could be, we expect them to be, playing for a championship, fighting for that championship. But it's just been the same narrative, every single season. So I think, they're an A level team for that reason.
Load management, man, killing the
Load
league.
management.
Which is crazy because last season, like their team looked like they're gonna be fully healthy, and then PG went down with was a hyper knee extension,
Yeah,
and then Kawhi actually popped off. Like Kawhi was going crazy in the playoffs, but it
and
didn't
then
matter.
and then he got hurt again
And
too.
then he got hurt too. It's like we literally just called it, man. Like they got injured at the end of the season. So yeah, if it wasn't like I think last season they could have made a push for the finals, but it's just the same story like we all said, and there's a reason why they're in A.
Yeah, that's why we're rooting for Westbrook.
Give him the keys, bro.
Definitely, he's the number one option now. Are we moving on to Utah?
Moving on to Utah.
Jazz. Okay, let's see, where do I got the Jazz? Okay, I know so the Jazz made some noise last season though. I think were they first in the West at one point?
Yes,
Yeah,
they
they
were.
were. They're like
They
6-0.
were. See, okay, see, that's what's like, okay, maybe they could go on that run again. So I'm deciding between the C level and the D level. Now, I know they still got, Jordan Clarkson's over there, Laurie Markkinen, he made one hell of a jump. Walker Kessler, that the young guy at the five, he's been putting up, a lot of rebounds, monster blocks as well.
Better
But
than Gobert.
better than so much potential, better. But I don't see them making too much noise, so I'm gonna put them in that D level.
Mm, mm.
I'd have to agree. I think the Jazz they were on a miracle run last year. Even though you add John Collins, like this team, I still don't expect to make that much noise, especially how competitive the West has been this last few years. Like I love the Jazz, I love their guys, but at the end of the day, like Markkinen, Collins, Sexton, Clarkson, like this is not a team that you would expect to be fighting for one of those playing spots.
But are they better than the Rockets? I say so.
I think the potential of the Rockets kind of puts them over the edge. You have Van Vliet, you have Jalen Green, who is gonna probably make a jump this season. Dylan Brooks is an established 3-and-D player. Jabari Smith is a really good center. You have Şengün still on the team.
Mm.
You have a lot of guys that you can see make a lot of impact and win you games. But the Jazz, it just seems like it's a bunch of guys that are just thrown on a roster. I mean, Markkinen and Collins, how's that fit gonna work? Kessler is secure the 5 spot, and like no one's gonna take that from him. And then your guard situation, that's all kind of messed up. Clarkson's like the only one that you kind of believe in on that team.
Yeah, now they talk about it, they look like a pickup team at the YMCA. Like
Just like that.
I'm not gonna say they're a terrible team. Like I still think they're better than the Rockets, but judging by potential alone, the Rockets definitely sit way higher. So I'm not gonna disagree with you there. I think bottom of C to D tier seems fair, but I would have leaned towards bottom of C. But I think D seems fair.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
All right, Denver. I don't know, man.
D
Nah,
level,
I don't.
no,
probably a D
dude.
level.
Probably.
I think top of S tier. I think although they did lose Bruce Brown, I think um, and he was such a big factor to their winning. I think Jokic and Murray, that's a cheat code, like you said. That will score you a bucket every single possession, and there's no stopping that. Like the league has not found a way to stop that play yet. So S tier at the top, maybe even second, 1, 2, maybe. I'm leaning towards the first spot, so top of S tier.
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards the one spot. The reigning champions only lost like one player in the offseason. Maybe even I think maybe lost Jeff Green as well to the Rockets, but that's it.
It's
That's all
it's
you
the
lose.
Rockets.
Yeah,
It's the
it's the
Rockets.
like you only lose two players that were playing like end of rotation minutes for you. I mean, Bruce Brown's playing a lot of minutes, but like you still have your core players, and all these guys are still relatively young. Like they're all under 30, it seems like, so they're probably going to get better. So if you're bringing back the same roster and you're looking at them in the playoffs, and especially like Ryan said, like they have a play, the Jokic Murray pick and roll, no one can stop it. Like the Warriors try stopping it, the Lakers try stopping it, and this who in the finals again? The Heat, the Heat couldn't stop it. I mean, this is one of the teams that you'd expect to be making a run for the finals for the next at least 3 years. So yeah, they got to be S tier for me.
Yeah, that core of theirs, that's secured. Jamal Murray, Jokic, you got AG as well. Plus you got Caldwell Pope,
Yeah,
huge,
KCP.
Huge.
huge. And I don't they didn't lose to I mean yes, Bruce Brown, significant loss, but they're still a contending team. They're gonna be fighting for that championship next season. Like no surprise. That wouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah, it's not a surprise.
That
Moving
I
on.
think that was pretty set in stone over there. I really a pretty tough team to rank, but I think the tier is probably obvious, but the placement of it kind of can move around. I have them in the C tier,
B tier, yep.
but I'm just not sure where I would place them. They have DeRozan, they have Levine, they have Pat Williams. Like they have guys that I like, and obviously they don't have Lonzo next season, but it's just how effective are these guys going to be together, and that's really what's gonna kind of shift them. Either I think they're going to be in between the Raptors or the Rockets, or in between the Timberwolves and the Raptors.
I think
I,
they're better than the Raptors. That's
okay.
just what I say because, like you said about the Timberwolves, 290 overalls are going to be at an 80 overall. But
Fair enough.
but I think DeRozan and Levine, although that duo hasn't worked amazingly well, they can make some noise. We've seen it 2 years ago when they were like the first seed for a while, and even though Vucevic is not where I wanted him to be, I think he can still do. He can still be serviceable in that rotation. So Chicago doing their own thing there. Like I don't really care about them to be honest right now. Uh,
Honestly.
they can just chill in C tier, maybe try and make a play in, and then get destroyed in the first round for all I care.
Yeah, with the narrative with Chicago, like I don't it's kind of hard to tell, what they're trying to achieve with, that lineup, that roster that they have. Levine and DeRozan, like how do they work out? Vucevic, he ain't the same guy he was in Orlando. There's just more of a talent on this team than there was on the Magic. But Lonzo was their anchor. I feel like everything was kind of coherent. Everything kind of flowed with Lonzo, handling the ball. But and once he was gone, everything was kind of like
Yeah,
staggered. We had DeRozan handling the ball like a few times, and then Levine kind of like, he disappeared. He was gone for a bit, and then Levine tried to make some noise, and then Vucevic would kind of get lost in the mix of those two. So I think yeah, the sea level. I don't. Would we say they're worse than the Timberwolves?
I think Ant's the best player out of that entire like the two organizations combined. I think Anthony Edwards is the best player. So yes,
Yeah. And you could argue Cat's better than Levine as well. Like Levine has really fallen off last season. So and I think what you said about Lonzo. Okay, here's the thing, man. I've
that's
always had
so.
this in the
Uh,
bottom of my heart, man. Lonzo, in my opinion, if you need to have any point guard for a roster that's not an all star, give me Lonzo.
Give me
He
Lonzo.
literally did everything on the court that you would want him to do: defend, shoot, play make, guard like 1 through 4. Like he did everything, man. He was selfless. He was a good teammate. Never gets into trouble. Doesn't get technicals. Cool headed. Like he was the best point. Like in my opinion, like I really love Lonzo, man. And to see him get hurt like that, it sucks so much. Because when they did have Lonzo and like when that first season when they had Caruso, Lonzo, DeRozan, Levine, Vucevic, they were
It,
popping off. They were
it was a
really good.
scary team.
It was scary. Like you could definitely see them making a push for the finals. Like that's how good they were. And yeah, once Lonzo went down, that was over. Like I hate that people are gonna think Lonzo's a bust. I don't think Lonzo was a bust. Like
He's not.
he was looking like an all-star caliber point guard, especially after he fixed his shot. It hurts my heart so much to hear about the story of Lonzo because everyone thinks he's shit. Man, he was really good. That just sucks so much.
Oh my God, Lonzo carried the Bulls so hard that he broke his knees. Like
Yeah,
that's just
That's
that's just how.
crazy.
Yeah, prayers up, man. Prayers up.
For real.
Move on.
Ooh, New Orleans. Okay, where did I got them? Okay, so the situation with New Orleans, guys, they have their issues with injuries. Zion being one of those huge
a
players who
freak.
can make
Oh.
a significant impact on that team. Brandon Ingram also has his injuries here and there with that finger, or was it a toe? I don't know. Toe, leg, finger.
I
There's
just
always
yeah.
some sort of
There's just something here all around.
for real. There's always some with that with Lonzo and I mean not Lonzo with Ingram and
Nah, not Lonzo
No,
again.
Zion.
no
My
again.
fault, my fault. With Ingram and Zion, which is why like it was tough because I had them in the C level, see them either being like a high C or low B, but like finally in the end, like I put them at a low B. 'Cause I feel like, if everyone's healthy, that talent is there. That's
Yeah,
a team that can make noise.
I definitely agree. Um, I personally would put them over the Thunder. I still think the Thunder are still a little unproven, but the Pelicans, when they have Zion, they're what, a top one team, top
Yeah,
top.
they
They
were
were fighting, yeah,
nasty.
they were
They were
under
a top team
pretty
in the
under.
league, bro.
Best
Like
offense in the NBA when he was playing.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you cannot discount the the talent they have around him. You have Brandon Ingram being your number two option, CJ McCollum being your three. Like that's crazy. Like if CJ McCollum's your number three option, you are in for a treat. But injuries are a big factor there, big concern with just health and the controversy surrounding their star players. So definitely not an A team, but I don't think C's doing them dirty. B
Yeah.
tier is fine.
So he's doing them dirty. I think they're personally probably behind the Knicks, and I would see them battling for the Knicks for the top level of
Okay,
B,
okay.
in my opinion. Just because the Hawks, like, I could see him. I could see him arguing them for C. From in my opinion, like I could see them maybe falling down to C. The Pelicans, if they're fully healthy, Ingram, Zion, McCollum, like you said, that's a core that like that could win you a championship. And like I could definitely see a world where that wins you a championship. Obviously, the issue is injury. Like the Knicks have been way too consistent, and
They're
I
not
think
injury prone.
yeah, they're not injury prone. So I think B's definitely a safe spot for them. And I personally like. Do you guys think that they could be better than Atlanta? Like, is putting them here
Yeah,
justified?
they're
Oh,
actually pretty.
100%.
They probably could.
100%.
Okay, so yeah, I think this is like kind of a perfect spot for them.
Okay. Brooklyn Nets. Uh, I want to say this one was easy, but then when I looked at the roster again, I couldn't say it was. So I want to put them at mid C level. I think the talent that they have is not playoff eligible. It could be play-in eligible, but most likely they're going to be sitting in the middle of the pack next season, especially if not too much attention will be focused on them. I think still worse than the Raptors maybe, but
Okay.
yeah, but we could see them pop off maybe to top of C tier at the end of the season.
Hmm. Yeah, I personally I think the Nets like a team that is so cohesive, a team that loves each other, a team that can play like in and out with each other, like Mikal Bridges, Claxton, Cam Johnson, Ben Simmons if he comes back. You have Cam Thomas still on the team. Like this is a team I could see kind of make a push for top of the C tier because Mikal Bridges, he's proven to be one of the premier young players in the league. I mean,
He's the
the
best. I
the
don't know.
Nets did they didn't want to trade him for anybody. It seemed like when they first got him. So if you have something like that you can rely on so much, and you have guys that are coming back that are all pretty much young guys, Claxton hopefully gonna be better next season. I personally think that they're probably better than the Bulls, like just for next season, but and by the end of next season. But C is probably justified for them.
Yeah, I agree. Sea level, I think, is the suiting level for the Nets. Would I put them behind the Raptors? I think the chemistry for the Nets, it's more significant. Like we could actually see them connect better than the Raptors, which is why I would put them over the Raptors. Could they beat
Mm.
the Bulls? No, I don't think so. I feel like the Bulls got that talent, but like I do love the situation there in the Nets. Bunch of young guys, still trying to find their way. They got who Dinwiddie, Claxton, Mikal Bridges could be a significant player next season. I feel like he could definitely make that jump.
They're just the 2017-18 Nets again. Like
Yeah,
Literally, literally.
so I think yes, the sea level is perfect for the Nets right now.
Hmm.
all
Okay, we
right,
move on to the Philadelphia 76ers. In the past, they've looked like a S tier team, but
you're
I
not.
think I think we've proven it now just from last season. They're probably a tier team, and I'll probably have them. I would have them personally over the Kings, just because I think the Kings like if there was like a in between A and B, the Kings would probably be there. But I think they're probably at the end of A at this level, just because Embiid is a playoff choker. Harris is a playoff choker, even though he has had a really significant role in everything else.
Harden
Just
is a
like
playoff choker.
Harden's a playoff choker for sure, and you don't have anyone else you can rely on. Like Maxi's the only guy that has actually proven to be pretty decent in the playoffs. which is kind of sad because Embiid's supposed to be that guy. Like you're the guy that you're giving the ball to, probably fourth out of those guys, is going to be your best player. It sucks. And until they proven otherwise, they're probably set in stone with A. Just like in the Clippers situation, where until we see it, they're probably gonna have to stay in this area.
I think that's a perfect spot. I think better than the Kings, but can't do anything to defeat the Heat. Like that's just that's how I see it. I think the 76ers are just stuck at the top and can't make it past that hump.
Right.
They're like the
Yeah.
Clippers from the Lob City era, in my opinion.
They just got hurt by injuries, though, in my opinion.
Well, both of them did.
Oh,
Lob City and Philly have been hurt
Philly,
by.
no, but like this season, like bro, they're just
Oh,
shit.
this season,
yeah.
this postseason, they were shit.
I don't
Yeah.
think the Clippers ever played like shit per se. Like it's like Blake gets injured, CP gets injured. Blake gets injured, and CP gets injured. That's just what
It's
it
a
felt like.
pattern, bro.
Yeah, it actually was.
It's like my turn, your turn. They're taking turns, you know.
Yeah, they're taking turns.
Yeah. Asvin, any thoughts?
Oh yeah, like I could say like Embiid's a force. Like if that dude's in his zone, like no one's stopping Embiid. But like the one thing that makes the Philly I think suiting for that A level is just the way they performed in the playoffs. Like it's been the same story, no improvements. But I wouldn't say like they're a B level team. I think that talent on that Philly roster is good for an A level. I think if they could improve on how they perform in the playoffs, they would definitely be an S level team.
Mm. It's sad to see the process just go to waste.
No, it's not. Embiid's a crybaby. Good riddance, bro.
Cleveland.
Cleveland. Okay.
Cleveland's an interesting one because
Cleveland.
I expected them to do so well last year, right? But Asvin, what do you think?
From what I put the Cavaliers at the B level. I feel like that roster. That's a nice young roster with Garland at the one, Mitchell at the two. Who's at the three? Isaac Okoro? Is that the dude at the three? Cedi
Yeah,
Osman? Isaac Okoro. I have no idea.
Definitely
They gotta
Okoro, yeah.
fix that though. If they're trying to make that jump to an A level team, I feel like they gotta fill in that gap in the three spot. 'Cause I don't think Isaac. I haven't seen Isaac Okoro play, but I don't think he's that guy to make
He's not
that
that guy.
big of an impact. Oh, okay, see, there we go. Evan Mobley, I feel like he could take that next big jump, defensive player of the year maybe. And then Gerald Allen, solid 5.
definitely, definitely. I think the playoff run they had against the Knicks was the one that disappointed me because I loved how that team was constructed with that Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland 1-2 punch, and then you're solid defensively with Mobley and Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, not Isaiah Mobley, but just have to make that clear. Uh, I think they're the best B tier team. Could definitely jump up to A tier, but they have to perform in the playoffs. Like you can't just do exceptionally well during the regular season and they say, fuck it, let's just do the same thing we did. No, playoff is a different atmosphere. Cleveland needs to step up. But aside from that, top of B tier.
Fair enough. I personally have them in the bottom of A. I have them behind the Kings. Just I can even see them making it above the Kings, even though the Kings had a really good playoff run last year. You have Mitchell, who, like before the playoffs started, people were arguing between him and Booker. Like people were really making the argument of who's better still. And Garland was performing exponentially in the time that he's been there. Mobley probably is going to make a jump next season. That I think he could be a defensive player of the year candidate. Allen, of course, solid 5. But if I project the jump to be that big, I think they're guaranteed a playoff spot for sure. And I could see them making a push for maybe even the 4 seed, 4-3 seed. I think that's where they land. And if they're in that area, I probably have to put them in A. But obviously, like top of B is definitely logical too.
Mm-hmm. Indiana?
And
Okay.
I see.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we were moving on. Indiana. So they have Tyrese, they have Buddy, they have Bruce Brown, they have Turner. Obi Toppin, exactly. And George Hill, but
White skin demon.
the OG. Indiana's not looking that promising to me, to be honest. I might have to put them in bottom of C or even D tier.
That's fair enough. In my opinion, I think Indiana is like probably I'd probably put them above the Rockets in my opinion, but definitely C/D tier team. Like it's a team that they have a bunch of young guys that they could make the jump. They could make that plan jump. Like Halliburton is amazing. He's one of the best young guards in
Auburn
the
is
league.
one of the best guys in the league.
Turner is probably the best 3 and D center other than Lopez, but he's probably the next like 3 and D center. Like that's his archetype. He's probably the next one up. And Ben Matherin's still on the team. You still have other young promising guards like Andrew Nemhard on the team. You have I don't know what's that one guy from the Raptors? Good, I'm blanking on his name.
No,
O'Shea
Chris,
Brissett. You have O'Shea Brissett on the team. Chris
yeah.
Duarte's on the team. Like it's young guys on the team that you could definitely see contributing. I personally think Buddy Hield's gone by the trade deadline, and if that's the case, then they're probably stuck in C tier.
Just don't see them making much noise, right?
Yeah, just
Yeah,
a very boring team.
I was gonna put them like high D level. I guess C level is also fine as well. Low C.
Are they
Just
better than
I
Are they
would say
better than the
D.
Jazz?
Yeah, better than the Jazz. Like
Better than
I
Jazz. Are they better than the Rockets?
probably
Nah, I don't
not.
Probably
think
Probably
not.
not.
Let's
so.
put them in bottom of top of D. Let's put them in
Okay.
top of D. Yeah.
Yeah, just a bunch of young guys like Halliburton as a god. Like I love Halliburton as the starting one for the Pacers. And then yeah, Miles Turner at the 5, solid. And then just a bunch of young guys at the 4. I know they have like Isaiah Jackson. They got Jalen Smith is also a name
Yeah, Smith's
they
still
got at the
there.
4 too. Still a lot of confusion there on like how is gonna work. I think Gogo is there a Gogo bit?
Goga Bitadze.
Yeah,
Come
Gogo
on, bring it
Batadze.
out,
Yeah,
dude.
look at that. He's there too. Just
Bro, you're
a
reaching for the trenches right now.
Man,
You're
that's the
like,
trenches. That's definitely D tier level reaching, dude.
just a bunch of young guys, no vet present over there in the Pacers, and I just feel like I feel like the potential is there. Like I could see Obi Toppin and Halliburton becoming like a duo. They're gonna be like a Lob City type team to watch, possibly, but I don't see them making like too much noise.
hey
Yeah.
man, it's indie. Like, I like them, but they can only do so much.
That's true.
Boring as hell.
Their jerseys are pretty nice.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Yeah,
They're pretty
yeah,
decent.
they're pretty nice. Yeah.
Asvin doesn't think so. Asvin thinks
I
they're
don't think
shit.
so. Nah.
L take. L take.
Uh,
Are you moving on to Wizards?
Of course, the Wizards. Obviously, we've seen them blew it up. They definitely blew it up.
About
It's
time. Holy.
yeah. I mean, like just like the Lillard situation, bro. Like 3 years too late to this whole thing, man. They could have got so much more, but you have Jordan Poole as their best player. No, he's not their best player. Kuzma's their best player.
Yeah, Kuzma's the
Kuzma's their
best
best
player.
player. So the one-two punch of Kuzma and Jordan
Cool.
Poole. I mean, this is just it's headed towards D tier for sure. The only thing that I'm looking towards is where in D tier am I putting them? Because
I'm putting them after Indiana because they don't have any chemistry yet. Whereas Indiana's pretty much set from last season.
I personally think they're probably behind the Jazz as well. Just
Oh
'cause
shit, okay, let's
the
do
Jazz,
it.
we've at least seen the Jazz
Yeah.
compete. This roster of Washington, other than Poole and Kuzma, you have Kispert. You have that's about it. I mean, there's no one else on that team that you really expect to make that big of an impact. So
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know Kispert's game. So
shooter, decent defender. He's white.
I thought he was a
It's-
big man. Holy.
oh
Damn. See,
Oh.
that's a, like we're reaching past the trenches, man. This is like. This is an Earth's core. We're reaching for the Earth's
Oh
core
my
if we
God.
name off the rosters. So yeah, that definitely means they're a D tier team.
Yeah.
Oh,
No
man.
thoughts. I have no thoughts on the Wizards,
No,
man.
the
Like,
most
Aside
irrelevant
from
team.
Jordan Poole and Kuzma, who else is there? John Wall, is he still there? Bradley Beal?
bro, John Wall is gone.
Gortat? Is Paul Pierce still there
Martin
too?
Gortat.
Yeah.
Otto Porter Jr. Like,
Otto
these are the
Porter
names
Jr.,
I
yeah.
know.
I can't even name their starting five. That's how bad their team is.
Oh my god.
It'd be like
Yeah.
that sometimes though.
It just be like that, but
I mean,
D-level,
Avdia is
yeah.
probably going to be their
That's-
next
that's
guy.
perfect.
Avdia is good. Gafford is their starting five. So, yeah, you're looking at Poole, Kispert, Avdia, Kuzma, Gafford. God damn. That's bad.
yo, our
I don't
squad's
know
about
who
to
half
pull
those
up.
players are.
Our squad's gonna pull up.
I feel disgusting to put them above the Jazz, honestly. I feel bad that I even thought about that. Maybe I should put them under the Pistons. 'Cause
Nah.
At least they have
Really?
Cade.
I feel like-
At least they have Cade. I mean, this team has no one. I mean, you have a shot chucker. You have two shot chuckers as your best player.
Definitely two shot chuckers right there. Bro, I don't even know what's happening in Washington anymore.
Hey, they're something rebuild, some kind of a rebuild, I guess.
Washington fell for real.
I mean, they have good jerseys though.
They do.
Oh yeah.
Some of
Yeah,
them are nice. Some of them are nice.
they're all
Uh,
nice.
okay, whatever you say. Magic, magic. As in,
Magic. Ooh. Okay, so this one's a good one. Okay, so Magic, they got the players. They got nice young players over there, a lot of potential. Bankero, Wendell Carter, point guard spot. They have their issues. They got Falls, they got Cole Anthony. Who else was there? I think there was another one.
Suggs.
Suggs as well. They got their
hmm
issue at the 1 and 2 spot. But I feel like, once they get that settled, like I feel like, that's a nice young team to watch. I would put them like with the Rockets, maybe even above the Pacers, like high D, low C. I feel like the
Hmm.
talent's there. It's just the
Hmm.
vet present, I feel like, is kind of missing, which is what's preventing them from taking that next leap.
better than the Rockets, not
You think
better than
so?
the Raptors.
Interesting.
I think so.
Why is
It's
that?
just
Why do you have the
it.
faith in them?
Well, I love Markel Fultz. I think I've said this a few times before. I know. I like his comeback story. I like how he went from not remembering how to shoot to solid 18, 16, 18 point per game. And then you still have a lot of young talent on that team. And although I don't like their jerseys, I just despise them so much. But I
Wait,
think
what?
Orlando, yeah, I don't like
Damn.
Orlando's jerseys.
Wait,
I
which
don't
jersey?
like. I
They're,
don't.
they're they're sick in my opinion.
They had like a black and orange one a few years ago,
I
or
like
like
that.
Oh
That was
yeah,
one of
no,
my
no,
favorite
no,
ones. I
nah, nah,
love those ones. I
that
love
was
those
black,
ones.
not
That was
black.
big.
disgusting.
I'm talking about like the Disney black. I think it was like black and
Oh,
blue.
that one's nice. That one's nice. The
Those ones are
Disney
nice.
black and
Yeah.
blue, like they
Even the
have
blue
like
ones are
the
nice. The blue ones are nice too. I think.
some of them are not it.
I mean,
Some of them
Bankero makes
just
them look good. I mean, the Bankero makes them look good. So
was I the only one disappointed that it wasn't pronounced Banchero?
I think Bankero's pretty goddamn cool,
Yeah, I
bro.
thought Vancouver was solid.
I was disappointed. I thought it was like Banchero. I was like, that's so cool.
That would be pretty cool too, I
Nah,
guess.
but I think right after the Raptors seems fair. They're better than the Rockets because they have Markel. But aside from that, not really.
Damn, that's interesting because, in my opinion, like you named off all those reasons, and I agree. I think they probably have a chance to be better than the Rockets. The guy who I think is like arguably their best player, like I think it's 1A 1B, Franz Wagner. I think
I
he's ready to
forgot
make
about
that
him.
leap.
Yeah,
I
kind
think
of.
he's ready
I
to make the
forgot about
leap.
him.
20 points per game scorer last season. 6'10 forward, can handle the ball, can defend all positions. Long wingspan. Like he really does it all, and he's very level headed, smart player, makes the right decisions. Really good finisher at the rim. Like I think he's ready to make that jump. He could be like if Bankero makes the jump with him. I think this could definitely be a team that you could see. I could see them go above the Nets, the Bulls. Like they can make a run for the play-in with the level of guys that they have on their team.
Mm.
I mean, you have a trustworthy guard in Fultz. Suggs, I also think that's going to make a decent jump. You have Wagner, Bankero with the forward spots. Wendell at the 5 spot. I mean, this team it looks like it's built so well,
They got Joe
and
Ingles too. Like that's definitely a
Oh
that's
yeah,
that
definitely a
that's
solid
right.
C tier
that's
team,
the
bro.
depth they need, bro. Yeah, so like this is a team I can see making a really big push if obviously everything goes well.
hmm
I'm hoping it does because I'm a big Franz Wagner believer. So I think this is definitely a decent spot to have them for next season.
All right, let's stick with that then.
Franz Wagner.
Wagner.
That's a
It's actually Wagner.
Oh damn,
Wagner, bro, man like Wagner, bro.
Wagner.
No, man like
that's a
Wagner, dude.
name. That's a name that doesn't get spoken of enough. Like that's the first time I heard that name in a while. Like I forgot about it.
Franz Wagner. I think he's German, right?
Think so. Him and his brother
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah,
Moritz
his brother's
Wagner,
there
bro.
too.
Mo, yeah.
Yeah, Franz Wagner. He's one of my favorite players in the league. I mean, I love that guy, bro. He's sick. So yeah, definitely
He's
gonna
pretty
make
cool.
noise.
I just forgot about him, but he's pretty cool.
He is irrelevant, so yeah, it's all good.
Ah, the best team in the league.
Easy S level.
S level tier.
Classic, classic.
Let's stick with top of D tier. I
Yeah.
think I think aside from LaMelo, uh they're kind of just sitting there in North Carolina. Like I don't really know what they're doing there. And the most relevant news that came recently was Michael Jordan selling them. So it was like that's all I can say for him. I do like LaMelo though. I do like LaMelo.
See, I'm also I personally would have them maybe even above the Rockets, just because of one reason. I think Miles Bridges coming
Bridges,
back
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
is huge. Like Lamelo having Bridges back, PJ Washington on a new contract, and you still have Gordon Hayward on that team. Like, okay, probably not above the Rockets, but yeah, I guess top of D. Like, let me stop talking. Like, they're still shit, but I think Miles Bridges, like, he can make that next jump. He was one of the best threes in the whole league the year that he played healthy. I mean, he averaged like
yeah.
22 a game. Like, it was insane the jump that he made. He was in for a max contract.
And
So,
then the whole thing happened. But
yeah, but if he comes back next season playing the same, maybe even playing better, I can see them making a push for seats here. But for now, yeah, top of D. They own this tier right now.
yeah,
Yeah,
as in, yeah.
I have no input to that. I agree with what Austin said. Like Miles Bridges coming back, that's huge. That's huge for them. Hopefully Lamelo could stay healthy. I know he had his ankle issues here and there, but I could see them being like low C, high D,
Mm,
D level.
definitely,
Also
definitely.
forgot about Terry Rozier, yeah, 20 points per game scorer.
Right,
Oh
right,
yeah.
right. Can't
So I
forget
mean,
about him.
it's a solid little tanking team. So yeah, this is a good spot for them.
The solid. They're like the definition of D tier.
Yeah, probably. All right, enough of these trash teams, man. We had like
We got
five trash teams in a row. Let's go to a decent team.
yes, sir.
I have the Memphis Grizzlies here. I personally think I would have them right in this spot right here, above the Sixers, behind the Heat.
Oh,
I think
interesting.
the way that their roster is constructed, you have John Morant, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson. All you need is like one really good guard, one really good forward, and then
Marcus Smart,
a second
Marcus
scorer.
Smart just made his entrance.
Marcus Smart,
Marcus Smart
Derrick
is there.
Rose.
Derrick Rose, I mean, 10 minutes a game, cool. But their roster is really well constructed right now. I mean, all the flaws that they have solutions for it. Obviously, John Morant's not going to be there for our first 25 games, but when it comes time for the playoffs, Ja is built for that time. We've seen him time and time again come through in the clutch. And every time about the clutch, every time about you need to win games, I'd rather have Memphis over than Philly. Like I think they're a contender. They can make a push for even the top of A in my opinion, just because these are all young guys that are going to drastically get better next season. So if it's the way that I see them projected, I think this is a decent spot for them.
I think they're better than Miami.
Whew, okay, more
Yeah.
optimistic than me. Fair enough.
You have John Morant. Your next best player is what I would say Desmond Bain,
Desmond Bain.
I would
and
say Jaren
then
Jackson, but yeah,
Yeah, it was
it's a
either
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Jackson or
JJ.
Desmond, right? But and then you have so much like Marcus Smart. No one's mentioning him. Like he's former DPOY. He can lock up anyone in the guard spot, even some wings too. Like if you have, he can guard Jimmy for real.
Mhm.
And Bam is locked up by sorry JJJ. And then who's guarding Ja? Who's guarding Desmond Bain? Like I don't see an answer for them on the Heat's roster.
Yeah, the only thing I worry about it is Marcus Smart taking stupid shots in the clutch because
Well, that's his thing, right? Like,
I mean, he did it and they won a game off of it, which is crazy. Like when Derek White hit that buzzer beater off the putback, Marcus Smart he shot the dumbest shot of his entire career, and they still won the game. So you never know. Maybe that's a blessing in disguise.
yeah, and he brings that mentality. I think he brings that the actual grit mentality too. So
Mm-hmm.
I think
Grit
they're
and
better than
grind
Heat.
Grizzlies.
Exactly. I think they're better. I think they're better than the Heat.
Okay, fair enough.
Could they go toe to toe with the Clippers? I feel like they can make some noises with
They
against the
could.
Clippers.
They actually could. They actually could. But I think the
Maybe they're
wing.
better than the Clippers. Maybe
Yeah, I feel
I
like
personally
Wait
think
a
they're
they
better.
sec.
could be better than the Clippers.
They weren't they the second seed?
Yeah, they were.
They were without Ja too, right? Ja.
Yeah, without Ja.
Yeah, yeah, maybe
Yeah,
high
put
rated them
them,
too.
bro. Put them
Yeah,
ahead of the
definitely. Yeah,
Clippers.
they're the
Put
face
them
of
up
A,
there.
bro.
Yeah.
Yo, Kawhi, who? Like, come on now. All right, Asvin. Next LA team.
Ooh, the Lakers. Okay. So I think I would put them right. Ooh, I would put them high A, low S level. I'd only say this because of injuries and chemistry. I know the Lakers, they had a rough start last season. They started off slow, but then they made a few moves. They brought in D'Lo, Hashimura, also a significant pickup, and I felt like the chemistry really clicked, and that's why they made the playoffs last season. Coming into this season, though, I feel like they can continue from where they left off in the playoffs if everyone stays healthy. Obviously, AD has his fair share of injuries. Could he stay healthy? That's the big question. I feel like if everyone could stay healthy, the chemistry's there. They're definitely an S level team. But for now, I'm gonna put them at that A level.
Yeah, I personally had them. I thought they were S tier team. Like
Mm-hmm.
the way they played in the playoffs last year, they bring back the exact same guys, and they even add guys on top of that. I mean, this roster is built for the playoffs. You have Reeves as your starting point guard. I really believe in him. Like I remember I had this conversation with Ryan where like I was kind of exaggerating what he could have been next season, but I think his game translates perfectly well, and especially come playoff time, like mid range jumpers, floaters, good pick and roll game. Doesn't panic at all. LeBron's still one of the best players in the league. Had one of his best seasons last year. AD should come back stronger, and if anything, if they're not where they want to be, they can trade D'Lo for another guy, just like that. So I think they're probably destined for a deep playoff run next season, and I personally would have them at the bottom of S, but top of A, maybe even behind the Grizzlies, it could be justified.
I would put them. I would actually move them right behind Golden State, like
Okay.
like end of S tier. Because throughout my years of watching basketball, one thing I've learned is never doubt LeBron.
All right.
Never doubt him. And they got everyone back, most of their key players back on such bargain deals,
Yeah.
and they just added Max Strus, who played really well in the playoffs last year. Like I don't see why not.
Wait,
I
Max
think that's.
Strus. He went to the Cavs.
Oh shit, my bad. Gabe Vincent. Yeah,
Huh.
these Heat players just confuse
Yeah,
me
they're all the
sometimes.
same.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're all the same.
generic 2K players, you know. But but I think the Lakers end of S tier. I don't see why AD can't be just as dominant. I don't see why LeBron can't be just as amazing as before. Like, they just got unlucky being matched up with the Nuggets because you can't guard that. But
Right.
going from a team that wasn't even in playoff picture to conference finals, that's an S tier team.
Agreed. Agreed.
I got a few more left. Phoenix Suns. Let's put that in a D tier. I don't really think they're
Don't
the
even
Phoenix
know
is
who's
on
on
greatest
the
their
team.
Suns right
roster.
now. What the heck?
Classic. Yep.
Bro,
Classic.
campaign? Oh shit, he got traded to the
They got
Spurs.
traded to the Spurs.
Phoenix Suns. I actually don't know where to put them in S tier because we haven't seen all three of them play together yet.
Me personally, I think talent rules over everything, and it's not like the Brooklyn Nets where they had no one else on the roster. You have a fourth guy, you have a fifth guy, and Eric Gordon that it completes your starting lineup. Like you forget, like it's Beal, Booker, KD. It's also Aiden, who I think is like one of the best centers you would want in the playoffs when
Hmm.
he's on. Obviously, he needs to be on.
And when he's motivated,
Of course, that's
yeah.
what I mean. Like when he's on, like yeah. And Eric Gordon, like that lineup will play at minimum like 35 minutes a game for you. And if that's going to be your roster in the playoffs, I personally would put them above the Golden State Warriors and behind the Bucks.
That's fair. That's fair.
But of course, I need like your guys' thoughts because that's where I would put them.
As in any.
Yeah, with the Suns, I feel like that point, the lack of, a point guard at the one, I feel like is going to be vital to how they play this season. Obviously, like I think they made it clear that they're going to have Bradley Beal handling the ball. Maybe
Hmm.
Booker might handle the ball here and there too. I think, with a point guard, they know how to facilitate like what's happening on the court. I feel like we kind of undervalue the like how a point guard plays and like the value the point guard brings to a team, which is why I feel like they're gonna be like a low S, maybe even a high A. But I'll definitely put them behind the, ooh, maybe even behind the Lakers. Yeah, I'll put them behind the Lakers for
Ooh.
now.
Ooh, even with three guys in their prime?
Yeah, that's the thing. Talent is huge on that team. So Beal, Booker, KD, oh yeah, Bol Bol. We can't forget about Bol
Oh
Yeah,
Bol.
yeah, Bull,
Bol.
dude.
Bro, let's
Let's
Bull,
put
never
him
mind.
at top of S tier,
top of
Yeah,
bro.
S, top of S. Yeah, let me put him up
put
there.
him
My
for the
bad, my
Nuggets.
bad.
Bol Bol's on that team. That's an automatic dub right
That's the
there.
Bull
That
tax.
is
Yeah.
revenge tour,
Let's
bro. Revenge tour.
let's get it.
Okay. Let me just one thing before Ryan gets a chance to speak because I feel like this is me. I think Beal is one of the most underrated players right now because he's been on this Wizards team and people think he's just a chucker. He just chucks shots. Well, that's his role on the team. We've seen in the past when it's time to play basketball, he can lock up. He was one of the best 3-and-D players when it was the John Wall era, and he has the ability to play point guard. Like he has had no one to pass to these last 3 years. Like we haven't seen this type of Beal in so long. I think Beal is when he's on a good team, and especially like Phoenix, I expect him to be one of the best players in the league. like a top 10 player. Like when it comes to playoff times, he's making all the little impact plays that you would want from a point guard. That's why I would have him so high. But let me let Ryan be the decider on this.
Well, I think Bradley Beal. I think I've said this before in a few episodes ago. I think Bradley Beal is the package was not my. I was not the biggest fan of the trade package. I think they gave up a lot for him, but having Bradley Beal in the John Wall era, he was definitely a solid wing. He wasn't a liability on the wing,
He was a really good
and
defender, actually. Yeah.
and he's a playoff performer. Like he can make shots in the playoffs when the guys surrounding him worked. Like the Boston and Washington series in 2017 or 18,
Mm.
he was
Cooking.
he was pretty good that series. And you can't forget the other times they made the playoffs. Like when the Raptors versus the Wizards a few years ago, I was scared because Beal was like making everything. So you can't discount that he can play off the ball and he can play on ball. I would put them where Austin put them. I think right behind Milwaukee, but ahead of the Warriors is fair enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last three, final stretch.
Final series. Here we go. Whose turn is it?
Yeah,
Awesome.
It's my turn. I got the
Yeah.
Blazers. Well, I mean, the Blazers, they do have Scoot. They do have Shane Sharp. They have Simons. And they still have Nurkic. But I expect probably Nurkic and Lillard to be gone by the deadline, if I had to guess. And if you have a roster with a bunch of young guys that we haven't seen mesh together yet, they probably have to end up. I would put them probably in the bottom of D tier, in my opinion.
Ooh, that far down, eh?
Damn.
Yeah, I mean,
Ooh.
you have Grant, but if what I think is gonna happen, where Lillard's gone and probably Nurkic is gone, Grant is not better than Cade, like in my opinion.
Well, are we judging based off of whether Dame won't be moved? Cause
Well, if Dame's
Yeah.
not moved, he's not playing. Because
you think he's like that? Because that's another year of his prime. That's another year of his prime gone.
Hey, I feel like Dame is so stubborn right now. Like, I won't be surprised if he sits out like Harden did. I won't be surprised. And even if he plays, he'll play like shit.
I don't think
Nah.
so. I
Like,
actually
I
don't
think
think.
that this team has a bad coach. Like, even when they were playing, they were the 11th seed, and that was with Lillard, and that was with Nurkic. If you have Lillard gone off that team, you're relying on Simons. Like, you're relying on subpar playmaking. You have a bunch of guards that are ball dominant. Nurkic seems like he's falling off. Grant, I mean, he was good in Detroit, but he's like 29, 30. Like, can he still be that guy that could carry them over the hump? Like, I think all these other teams that we've seen, except for like the Wizards, we've seen them play together. We've seen them like be a cohesive unit. Like the Pistons, like we've seen them be a cohesive unit. They've had good stretches. The Blazers are coming in like when they trade all these guys. Like even if those guys are still there, like they're still a terrible team. All in all.
Okay, I'd say I'd put the Blazers ahead of the Wizards,
Okay.
but not at the end of D tier. I think that's a solid spot for them because you can make an argument that if Dame does play, like for sure, he can maybe drag them to a 10 seed. Maybe drag them to a 10 seed. And that's if he's not moved. But there's no way in hell they're beating Laurie Markkinen. Let's ju- let's just blunt. Let's just honest.
If they have Lillard, I probably put them in C tier, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's Dame time.
But I think Dame's
Dame
gone.
could.
That's why I think they're so shit. Because like they're making all the like they pretty much guarantee that they're trading Dame.
Have they though?
Yeah, they literally say like this is gonna take months, but we're looking to get
Months,
a
but
deal
he
done.
still has to play.
Yeah.
He
Bro.
has to play because Dame's gonna
Bro.
get fined if he doesn't.
When he plays, they're still shit, and if he plays disgruntledly, they're gonna be even more shit.
All
That's
I'm
just my
saying,
thing.
you don't want to lower your trade value. You got to play at least to
If you're
some
Lillard,
level, right?
if you're Lillard, you want to decrease your trade value.
Oh, no,
'Cause
I
you-
guess that's true. I guess
Yeah,
that's true.
but I don't know.
That's true, yeah.
I see
I
the
can see
point
that.
though. I see the point though.
Oh, so where are we putting them? Asvin, you're the
Yeah, you're the
decision.
decider.
I was gonna say, with Dame, like I could easily see the Blazers being like a low C with
Okay.
Dame. The fact that we took like we considered like him not playing or being like traded by the deadline, I would put. Ooh. So we're saying Nurkic is also gone too. Like once Dame is gone,
Well,
Nurkic is gone.
probably because they're like a duo in my opinion.
Ooh, okay, yeah, I would put them, yeah, right there. I would put them
Okay.
below the Pacers and above the Jazz because I think Anthony Simon, Scoot, who else is there? Jeremy Grant. Like I feel
Jeremy
like they could
Grant,
pick up the slack once
slightly.
Dame and Nurkic are gone.
All right.
Yeah, I guess that's a
I
fair
think
enough.
I think that's like in between where Austin and I were deciding. Definitely.
I had them last.
I know.
I'm gonna
Okay.
stand by that. I had them last. I think they're shit, dude. But
But that's if Dame is moved.
That's true.
which is like 95%.
Okay, there's still 5% chance.
Okay. Okay.
I'll take it. So Wemby's team.
Wemby's team. That's my okay. Let's get it. The Spurs. Okay, so the one issue I had with the Spurs last season is that Popovich, they rested their key guys like Keldon Johnson. He rested quite a bit. Devin Vassell also kind of rested a bit, and I don't know the reason why. Like they're still young. These guys need some experience, but yet the Spurs are here sitting them, for games, sitting them out. So I feel like if that same treatment happens, like I don't see the Spurs making too much noise. Like even though there's all this hype around Wemby, like I still see the Spurs being that D level team. Um, where though, I think they would be better than the Pacers. I think with that group, I feel like they could be better than the Pacers if no one's being rested. I know the Spurs, they got their vets, retired vets. Tim. I saw that picture with Tim Duncan, Tony
And Manu.
Parker. Who else was there? Manu was there
Manu
too,
was there,
training Wemby.
yeah.
But yeah, I got the Spurs being like a high D potentially.
All that training really paid off, eh?
Yeah,
True.
bro.
I think when I saw this, like when I was trying to rank the Spurs, I was out here Wemby instant B tier, but I think I was just putting too much hype on him. Uh, Definitely an amazing talent, and we've seen that during his time in Europe, and some flashes here and there during the summer league. Although he played like 2-3 games and then dipped, but I think Wemby has a lot of untapped potential. He's got a lot of things to experiment this season. I'm leaning to bottom of C tier because I think he's better than the entire Hornets organization.
Damn. Okay.
But I don't know if he can beat the Rockets on his own. So we'll keep it at high end D or low end C. But I'll let Austin decide.
I personally think maybe I'm a hater. I think they're going to be solidly in D. I think this like Wemby is one player, right? He's one guy, and he's a center, which is kind of hard to make an impact as the center on a team that's really bad. I personally think that they're probably like, if I had the Blazers all the way at the end, and that's how my roster looked like, I probably have them probably below the Jazz, but above the Wizards. Like, I think that they're gonna struggle. It's Wemby, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell. Like, it's some decent young players. Campaign's there. Trey Jones is there. I like Trey Jones a lot. And what's that one rookie they have? It's like Keontae something.
Bro, it's a rookie. I don't know them.
No,
Yeah,
he was really good in summer league. All right, I'm telling you, this Keontae guy, he's gonna pop off for the Spurs, but it's still a low end team. It's still a team that doesn't have a lot of talent, a lot of unproven talent. I feel like, which is from what we've seen in the past. There are young guys that you can be excited by. Like, oh, like I'm hyped for like Banchero to play. I'm hyped for LaMelo Ball to play, but their team is still a shit. Because if you look at the teams that are in the league in the NBA, all these teams have talent and talent like the Bulls have, the Nets have, like even the Magic have right now. It's hard to beat that out with just one rookie. Next season, yeah, I could definitely see them being a C tier team if Wemby does live up to the hype. But for this season, where there's gonna be a lot of growing pains, I would have to put them in D. But for what we're all considering, I think top of D probably makes sense.
Okay. I think I'll agree with that. Top of D.
And last team,
last
Team,
team,
the
the Mavericks.
Dallas Mavericks. This was another iffy one because they didn't make the playoffs. But they have so much talent just right there in the backcourt.
mm-hmm.
I want to put them at the top of B tier.
Top of B tier.
Top of B tier.
Okay.
Because Luca has that magic and Kyrie's got some sorcery happening there too. But I don't know how that's going to translate right now.
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
think
Yeah,
top of B tier is pretty bold because you're kind of like edging them already into the playoffs. I think the roster Kyrie and Luca, that alone, like if you just said those two names, I'd be like, oh yeah, easy B tier, probably even A tier. But the rest of their roster is horrendous.
Well,
It's
that's
just
exactly the point. Like those two alone could even potentially carry you to a win.
it can, but the front court being so thin right now, like you have Dwight Powell as a
Wow.
starter. It's a shame. It really
You
is a
got
shame.
you
Like
got Rashawn
for
Holmes.
Rashawn Holmes, like a guy that was on the end of the bench. Like I personally would probably have them above the Hawks if I had to really think about it. Just because Doncic is top 5 player in the league. Like when it's regular season, he is, which automatically makes you kind of a playoff contender. But to have them above the Cavs and the Knicks, who have been so consistent that they all have complete rosters, decent coaches. Like I probably can't justify that, but I can see where you're coming from with the B. Just from having the talent on your team makes so much of a difference.
Well, like you have two arguably top 10 players right now on that roster. They just don't have the defense. But if you were to put the Dallas Mavericks like player comparison side by side, I guarantee you at least one of, if not both, Kyrie and Luca would be better than all the other players in B tier.
True. I would agree to that to an extent because the roster is just that bad. Like the
Yeah,
roster
that.
being that bad, like I would love that. I would make the argument. Like let's say they had I don't know, one of these shitty teams like the Hornets without Lamelo and let's say Miles
Bridges.
Bridges. I could still make an argument that yeah, you're right. Like if you have, like Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, like yeah, I can see that. But the Mavericks have absolutely nobody. They have nobody. It's like rookies. It's like who even is there on that team? Like Jalen
Seth
Green
Curry.
is like
Oh, wait,
yeah,
Jalen
That's
Green.
like
Seth Curry. Oh, Seth Curry's
Yeah,
there.
Seth Curry's there.
he's washed too. I think so. Yeah,
Damn.
it's tough to make that
Um,
that argument in my opinion.
What
is
does Asvin
Christian Wood
think?
is Christian
Nah,
Wood still
Christian
there?
Wood. He's a free agent, bro.
Yeah,
I
like
think he should go to the
no one
Warriors.
wants him, bro.
I think he should go to
No
the
one wants him.
Warriors.
Bruh,
Go to the
No,
Warriors,
I
that's
think he should go to the
crazy.
Warriors.
bro. They hate people that have like, bro. They let go of Oubre, they let go of Poole, like they let go of Wiseman, like all the guys that complain about the role, they just ditch, man. So if he goes to the Warriors, he's probably gonna be in the G League team.
Probably, yeah. But yeah, aside from Luca and Kyrie, like I don't know who else they got. I know they signed Seth Curry, but I don't know who that fourth who's playing that four and who's playing the five. Like we mentioned Dwight Powell, but like what could Dwight Powell do? Like I think he had a pretty decent season, like maybe 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago. But like
Yeah, where
aside
he
from
averaged
that,
like 8 points. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, something like
Like,
that. Like that's that's more than what we expect, right? But you know, yeah, I don't see aside from Luca and Kyrie, like yeah, I would put them high B.
IB.
better
So
than the
what?
Cavs or not? Okay, better
Yeah.
than the Knicks. Yes or no?
Yes, those two, Kyrie and Luca.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. And better than the Cavs though. No, right?
Think about the
Nah,
roster, Asman. Think
no, no,
about
no,
the
no.
roster. I mean,
Nah,
it's
I'm
bare
good.
bones over there.
It's
Nah, we
fine.
good.
It's fine, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
keep them
good.
there. Keep them there.
All right, that's our tier list.
Damn.
Pretty even spread, in my opinion. It's pretty even.
Not too controversial like I thought. I thought one of y'all would have like fucking, I don't know, Philly and S tier.
I personally think that the Mavericks is the most controversial,
Maybe, yeah. Mavericks might be the most controversial one.
but the rest are pretty decent. Pretty
Pretty
decent.
solid. Pretty solid. Good job, guys.
Nice. Now, would we change the order for any of these teams?
Ooh, we got a few more minutes left. Let's do this fast.
Okay, Denver won. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see these these
those are
six.
like
I could
locks.
see.
Those are
I
Yeah.
solid.
think those are locks. Those are locks. I think our
Yeah.
power rankings, those six are a lock.
Okay, A tier.
I could argue Clippers over Memphis,
Yeah, I
but
could
I
argue
want to
that.
stick with Memphis
Okay, that's fair enough.
because of health,
Yeah.
because of health reasons.
I would also argue the Cavs on A tier.
Yeah, we can do that.
I can
We can
see
do
that.
Okay.
that. We
I
can
can
do that.
see the Cavs being
We
A
can do
tier.
that.
Okay. So that's the rest of A. I guess A is like lock. Like this is a separation down
That's
here.
yeah.
B tier.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can.
Okay. I already said where I would have the Mavs, but okay. Well, we can switch anything else.
I mean, we can switch up the Mavs if we think otherwise.
Like I could see a New Orleans team, like a healthy
I think
Pelicans
the
team that just
Orleans team
take
could
over.
be top of BT, low key.
Yeah.
I
Low
could see
key
that
top
too.
of
I
B
could see
tier,
that
yeah.
too. I would personally probably put the Mavs down here.
Maybe, yeah. Just because
Okay.
of because the roster construction, like you said. Would you move Minnesota to B tier?
A lock for the playoffs? Probably not. Probably not. The West is really strong. Like Minnesota's probably going to be stuck in the playoff race, or in the play-in race.
So they're worse than the Thunder for sure.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
If they are for sure, then we keep them in
What do
C
you
tier.
think? Do you think that you think Timberwolves? Because we can move OKC down here. Like I don't mind this.
Okay, because I was out here like OKC doesn't seem like an exact lock for a
Right.
play-in.
Yeah.
Play-in.
I
You
can
know,
definitely see that too.
like anything in C tier, I think has a solid chance to maybe the Rockets. Yeah, Rockets could with Van Vliet and Dylan Brooks. I think you can keep them in C tier.
Actually,
I think I
I
think
might argue them for to be D. Honestly, top of
really.
D. I could because Van he low key is a shot chucker, and like that roster. If you look at it, let's say you take out Van Vliet from that roster, that team sucks. That team probably sucks a lot, in my opinion. Like Amen Thompson is
APJ,
not going to be the difference changer.
Jalen Green. Who else is there? Oh, Jabari Smith. Yeah, like we saw that last season. Like there was no chemistry going on. It
Well,
was just Jalen
Right.
Green
just
and
just a bunch
APJ.
of young guys shooting half court shots.
Right, but they do
Yeah.
have a new coach, but I still think that they're probably going to be top of D. Like I don't see them making that push. Like I think this season they're probably just going to
Let's
shut up
move
some
them
growing
to D
pains.
tier. Let's move them to D tier.
Okay, let's move to D. All
Let's
right.
move them to D tier. I might make an argument to put the Jazz higher.
Jazz high. Yeah, I could see that too. Yeah, this does seem a bit low. Where would
Past
you
the
put them
Pacers,
though?
past the Pacers, but not before the
Pacers.
Hornets. Yeah, that looks nicer. I think that looks better.
Maybe I might even put them above the Hornets because the Hornets, even when they played, like they were still like an 11 seed. Like the
Okay, let's do
Jazz.
it. Let's do
Okay.
it. Let's do it.
What do you think, Asvin? What do you think?
I would I would keep the Jazz there. I feel like a LaMelo and Bridges duo was better than what.
A
Who?
Markkanen Collins or Markkanen
Yeah,
All right.
Clarkson duo.
like I wouldn't say the chemistry's there yet for the Jazz.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair
Okay,
enough.
that's fair.
The Spurs. Yeah. Do you guys feel
The-
differently about the Spurs?
No, I think the Spurs might be lower, low key.
Yeah.
I think the Spurs are
Yeah.
lower.
Okay. How low are we going
Behind the
though?
Jazz?
Behind Pacers, because Portland still has Scoot, which is unproven, but Pacers have Tyrese.
I might even put the Blazers above the Spurs, just because it's Wemby
Because
Keldon, but Simons Grant probably I would say is better than Wemby and
even
whoever.
Dame too, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I would say this makes sense. Maybe even them above the Pacers. I guess maybe if I
Do you
really
want
be
to
realistic.
though? Do you want to?
I guess Halliburton and Turner are probably better. Like
Yeah.
the rest looks pretty okay.
Wizards? If we put them, who's better, Pistons or Wizards?
Yeah,
No,
this is a tough one, dude.
that's a NBA on TNT analysis right now.
Yeah,
I would say the Pistons are better in my opinion
I would say that too. I like
because
talent.
Monty
I don't know.
Monty's
I
still
don't know
better
who's
than
the
So
Wizards.
Coach Monty
Who
himself
the-
just makes the Wizard and the Pistons better than the
yeah,
Wizards.
low key because like who even is a Wizards coach, bro? Like
Is this Scott Brooks?
I
Was
hope
it Scott
not.
Brooks?
If it's
Is it
Scott
still
Brooks,
him?
we're making F if it's Scott Brooks. 'Cause he's shit. The only other one I see is the Magic being controversial. That's the only.
No,
other
I don't see the Magic being
You know?
controversial.
Okay, because
I
I
don't.
love the Magic, but like if you look at that name, it just seems weird to have them like not shit. You know?
Because they've never
Yeah.
been this high up.
Yeah, it's weird to see. It's
They're
weird to see.
always in D or F tier. They've never been in the C tier before.
It's the Franz Wagner Bankero effect, bro. Honestly,
I think this is.
pretty
I
logical,
think
yeah.
this is final. I think this is
This is
final.
final, yeah.
Solid, yeah. All right, screenshot this, everyone. You'll see in a few months.
Yeah, just watch the NBA season and you'll come back this and be like, damn, they're right. They're 100% right.
Our rankings 100% right.
All right. I guess we're good then, right?
But that concludes this episode. Yo, this was actually hella fun.
Let's get it. Hey yo, thank you guys for having me. This was fun. Thank you guys for having me back the second time around. I appreciate it.
Always welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. Any last words?
Once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks.